From historic Simmons Field in Kenosha, Wisconsin, it's almost time for Rockford Rivets baseball. Today in game number 68 of 71, the Rockford Rivets take on the Kenosha Kingfish. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wisconsin. Alongside Ethan Blake, it's Larry Larson in with you. Thank you so much for joining us. And Ethan, both these teams have been eliminated from postseason contention. That was made official last night with Kenosha's loss at Kokomo. So what's on the line here tonight?
For the individual players, I think a lot's on the line. A lot of guys on both sides are either new or trying to finish strong or maybe break out of a slump that they fell into early August, late July. So there is a lot on the line here. While playoffs may not be there, these 4 days are important to these players. They're here for a reason. They're here to get better and set themselves up for a good year at college this upcoming season.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, summer ball's about improvement, and I know that we've seen a lot of these guys throughout the summer improve for the Rivets. Another thing that's at stake tonight is the season series. I'm sure the players probably may not be aware of that, but the season series is tied at 4 apiece, and we've seen a lot of good contests between the Rivets and Kingfish so far this summer, and these two teams are going to wrap up the summer playing each other. The last 4 games of the summer for the Rivets are all against the Kingfish, 2 here at Simmons Field, and then 2 at home at Rivets Stadium to put a bow on it. But Ethan, the Rivets last played here at Simmons Field to start the second half, and it was a really frustrating series for Rockford. They lost the first game 11-10 in a heartbreaker, and then they dropped the second game 7-4.
Yeah, it has been a while since the Rivets have been out here. Almost nobody on this team and in today's starting lineup has played a game in Kenosha yet. But yeah, those games back then, especially the first one with Phil Matulia hitting for the cycle, plus an extra double, I believe. It was real. That was a tough one to swallow, and unfortunately, it seems to have just been the beginning of a frustrating second half for Rockford.
Let's detail today's pitching matchup for you. It'll be Ryan Green taking the ball for Rockford. He has thrown phenomenal lately, and he'll square off against Bryant Bagshaw, the sophomore from Minot State.
Yeah, Ryan Green really settled into the high-leverage reliever role he's taken on in the past few weeks, picked up a couple saves, a win. So it'll be interesting to see how he does getting back into the starting role. He has 1 start on the year, probably his worst outing of the year, just could not find the strike zone. So it'll be important for him to do that early. And as we tell all the Rivets pitchers, you got to avoid those walks, especially early.
And Green, his last 3 outings, he's not allowed an earned run and going 8 innings. His last outing especially was good on August 5th at Lakeshore. You talk about limiting the walks, he did that. He only issued 3 and 4 innings of work. But he also came up with a lot of big strikeouts, 4 of them. And when you talk about Ryan Green, maybe you don't think that he's a strikeout pitcher.
Yes, you would think that Ryan Green hasn't been much of a strikeout pitcher, but he's really gotten that curveball going. That's his favorite pitch. That's his confidence pitch. That's his finisher. He loves using that curveball, and now that he's finally been able to get the feel for it, it's become extremely effective, and it's really helped to balance out his fastball.
As for Bagshaw, on the other hand, his last appearance was on August 5th at Kalamazoo. He went 5 innings, surrendered 4 earned runs, walked 2, and struck out 4 in an 11-1 loss for the Kingfish. And looking at the season overall for Kenosha, they enter tonight's matchup with a record of 37-31. They've been pretty darn good, but they just have not been able to keep pace with Traverse City and Kokomo.
Yeah, you have seen, I mean, even in that first half, Kenosha was just a game out of winning that first half. So that's been frustrating down the stretch in both halves for the Kingfish. So, I mean, yeah, like you said, it's been tough to keep pace with the flaming hot Jackrabbits and then the always tough Traverse City Pittsfitters.
Absolutely. And Kenosha, one thing that jumps off the page for them is their team batting average, .271, 3rd in the league. They had Justin Janis, who may be the batting title winner in the Northwoods League after he was the batting title winner in the Big Ten this past year. Janis finished his summer hitting .402, and he was a lot of fun to watch. But like we mentioned a few moments ago, these rosters have changed a lot since the last time these squads matched up here in Kenosha. Tonight's scenery, it started sunny during what would have been batting practice. Batting practice was not taken today. But now clouds have moved overhead on a hot and humid day in southeastern Wisconsin. That's a little disconcerting because storms are on the way, moving from the west to the east towards us in Wisconsin. There's some tornado watches off to our west, so that's something to watch tonight.
We've seen a lot of interesting weather over the past few days. I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit in the broadcast, but yeah, definitely hoping to get this game in, or at least get enough of this game in so that we can avoid having to play a doubleheader at any point over the next 3 days.
I'm sure the teams would likely not want to do that, as doubleheaders tend to be a little bit of a rush and can be hard to deal with. Outside of the weather, Kenosha provides some interesting quirks in terms of the ballpark. It's 314 down the left field line, but to straightaway left, it's just 300 feet. We saw the Rivets capitalize on that in a game earlier this season in which they hit 3 home runs here at Simmons Field. But that little area to straightaway left is called the Fishbowl Club, and there are fans basically seated on the same level as the left fielder. So there are fans sitting directly behind the left fielder. Only a short chain link fence separates those folks, and then it's 400 to dead center and 330 down the right field line. So it's a hitter's ballpark, and today the wind is howling out.
Definitely an interesting dimensions we see here in Kenosha. That one of those home runs you mentioned, the one by Wade Elliott, was just a line drive off the wall double in any other ballpark, and managed to get out here in Kenosha. Early on, we did see the wind going hard down the right field line, so we'll see how some of the left-handed hitters fare in a ballpark that's more suited towards right-handed hitters.
And Brody Harding did hit a home run as a lefty over that 330-foot fence down the right field line. We'll see if the Rivets can capitalize on that once again. It's been a while since we've seen a home run on the road for the Rivets, but they did belt one yesterday. Johannes Hawkinson hit his first home run of the summer over the left field wall with the wind blowing out at Rivet Stadium. We're moments away from baseball. We're going to step aside and take a brief break and come back with the starting lineups and the first pitch between the Rockford Rivets and Kenosha Kingfish. It's the penultimate road game of the summer for the Rivets and Kingfish, for the Rivets at least. Penultimate home game for the Kingfish. But we will step aside and take a brief break and be right back. You just listened in to the national anthem here at historic Simmons Field. It was a rousing rendition, bit of a different one than we're used to hearing, but at least it was live, Ethan.
Yeah, always good to hear a live national anthem. We aren't afforded that at Rockford at Rivet Stadium every time, but we have heard it a few times in Rockford and plenty of times on the road. It's been nice.
It certainly has been. Rockford Rivets and Kenosha Kingfish now just moments away from baseball at historic Simmons Field. Thanks for joining us on your Thursday evening. We're approaching, or no, it's Wednesday, isn't it?
Yes, it is
Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Ah, there you go. It's Wednesday, my dudes. Thanks for joining us. Oh boy, it's tough to keep track of what day of the week it is sometimes. Rivets and Kingfish about to get underway, and Elvis the mascot, the Kingfish for the Kenosha Kingfish, is about to zip line down the left field line before we get underway.
I see some of the Rivets players who haven't been here before. DJ Noble out in front of the dugout, really liking the show. A cool pregame tradition here in Kenosha. I've seen it in Madison as well. A few teams do this.
Yes, Madison and Kenosha, fun fact, owned by the same folks. So
oh, that would make sense.
It would make sense that they have zip-lining mascots prior to each game. So now that the mascot has zip-lined, let's get you the starting lineups. First, for the visiting Rockford Rivets, managed by J.T. Scara. DJ Noble, the freshman from South Suburban College, will lead it off and play shortstop. Jack Kavanaugh owns a 6-game hit streak. He bats second and will play left field. Kevin Bushnell is the DH, batting third. Brandon Bannon is at third base as the cleanup batter. Johannes Hawkinson, fresh off of his first home run of the summer, bats fifth and plays center. Justin Carestis had a 2-hit day in his summer debut yesterday, batting sixth and playing first base. Joaquin Monquez behind the plate. Charlie Allison will play right field and bat eighth. And Jake Bolata, the sophomore from Rockford University, rounds it out, playing second base. Those are the Rivets. These are the Kingfish. Spencer Hands, the freshman from UW La Crosse, bats leadoff and plays third base. He's a player that the Rivets have not seen before. Josh Leslie bats second and will play shortstop. Cam Collier, the freshman from South Florida, will bat third and play center. Luke Stevenson is the cleanup batter doing the catching. Matt Corman is out in left, batting fifth. Wyatt Crenshaw, bats sixth and plays right field. Angelo Cantello is over at first base, batting seventh. Chase Gibson, the junior from William Woods College, is the DH, batting eighth. And Josh Byer, the second baseman from the Milwaukee School of Engineering, bats ninth and rounds out Kenosha's lineup. So that's the lineup and the defense behind the right-handed pitcher from Minot State, Bryant Bagshaw, and he stands at 6 foot, 175 pounds. He's tossing his warm-up tosses. He's pitched against the Rivets before, Ethan, and had marginal success, but the main challenge for Kingfish pitchers against the Rivets has been here at historic Simmons Field. The Rivets have averaged 7.5 runs per game here in their 4 contests this summer.
I agree. It has been odd that the trend has been that way, but yeah, as soon as the Rivets are able to get the Kenosha starter out of the game, they really jump on the bullpen. So we'll see if we see something similar today or if they can get to Bagshaw early.
In Bagshaw's lone appearance against the Rockford Rivets on July 22nd, he went 5 innings, surrendered 3 earned runs, walked 1, and struck out 1. So not exactly dominant. He got the job done going into the 5th inning. However, as you mentioned, that bullpen has been a struggle for the Kingfish. And an interesting note on the bullpens here, Ryan Green, the Rivets starter, is warming up in the Kingfish bullpen. And I think that might have something to do with the conditions in the Rivets bullpen, as similar to Rivet Stadium, Kenosha just got a lot of rain last night and into this morning. It's time for baseball. DJ Noble, a right-handed batter, climbs in the box, working against the right-hander Bryant Bagshaw. He kicks and fires the first pitch. It's in there for a called strike on a fastball, and we're underway at 6:09 p.m. in the Central Time Zone.
Noble, a really good fit in the leadoff spot, a right-handed bat. That's a big change for the Rivets, but he's been hitting well.
The 0-1, swung on and chopped foul behind home plate. It's quickly 0-2. But you make a great point. Noble fits that mold. He's a smaller guy standing below 6 foot. He's pretty quick, and he gets on base a lot. He draws a lot of walks. Yesterday he was 2 for 5 with an RBI double. Bagshaw comes home with the 0-2, and off-speed misses low and away, and it's 1-2.
And some of the guys were getting on DJ before the game, seeing if maybe he thought he could get a ball out towards the Fishbowl Club, but he said that's not yet in his game.
Here's the 1-2, pulled foul on the ground up the third base line, right at the camera operator located behind third base. He's all right. Still 2-2 on Noble. Rivets and Kingfish, both with 4 games remaining, all against each other. Both eliminated from playoff contention. Bagshaw fires another 1-2. Curveball tomahawk past the diving hands at third base and into left field. It's a leadoff single for DJ Noble, and the Rivets are cooking in the first.
Great start there for Noble. We talked a lot in his summer ball experience earlier this year. He was a big walks guy, just got on base with a lot of free passes, but he's been really swinging it here in Rockford, has picked up a number of hits, has had a couple multi-hit games so far.
2 of them looking for a third today. Jack Kavanaugh, another hot bat, climbs in the right-handed batter's box. Righty on righty, and the first pitch misses outside, 1-0. Kavanaugh, as we mentioned a few moments ago, owns a 6-game hit streak, all 6 games in a Rockford Rivets uniform. He was 1 for 3 in yesterday's loss with an RBI. Bagshaw sets at the belt and delivers the 1-0. It misses outside, 2 balls, no strikes.
Always a pretty encouraging sign when you bring in a temporary player and he could say, yeah, I've hit in all my games so far. So definitely has been a good week for Jack Kavanaugh.
He's batting .381 in 6 games. The 2-0 is popped up to the right side of the infield. The second baseman, Josh Byers, shades into shallow right and gloves it for out number 1. Noble remains on first base. Top half of the first, Rivets and Kingfish just getting underway. So here's Kevin Bushnell with a runner on first base. The junior from Benedictine University is the DH today. He was also 1 for 3 in yesterday's 16-6 Rivets defeat. Bagshaw's first pitch, pulled on the ground past Spencer Hands into left field. Noble's going to try to go first to third, and he's going to make it. Bushnell takes off for second base, and he makes it there without a throw. The Rivets have runners on second and third with 1 out in the top of the first.
Good heads-up base running from the less-than-speedy Kevin Bushnell. Really sets up this at-bat well for Brandon Bannon, a guy who we talk all the time, barrels up a lot of balls. So even if he isn't able to get a hit here, could pick up a sac fly and put the Rivets on top early.
And you could argue that Bannon is due. He was 0 for 4 yesterday. Bagshaw going to the windup now, working from the left side of the rubber. He's got the sign from the catcher, Stevenson, and time is called. It was called by Stevenson. You mentioned Bushnell's base running. He's slow with the speed, but he's a heads-up base runner.
Definitely a smart guy on the base paths. Gets good jumps, too, on the rare occasion that he tries to steal.
Long delay from Bagshaw. Now he rocks and fires the first pitch. And a breaking ball drops in there on the inside corner for a called strike one. As Ryan Green and Joaquin Monque, the Rivets battery, jog behind home plate to make it back to the dugout after they finished warming up in the Kingfish bullpen. Chance for the Rivets to pull ahead here. Scoreless ball game, top of the first. Bannon waves the bat around in his hands in the 0-1, misses down and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bannon with 2 runs driven in this summer. He's rocking black and gold stirrups with his dark gray Rivets uniform. Bagshaw deals the 1-1. Breaking ball misses down and away. Stevenson stumbles out of his crouch to snare it. It's 2-1.
This late season crew, a big fan of the stirrups. A lot of the new players have been electing to go with the high socks look. It's sharp, especially with the road uniforms.
It definitely looks better with the road uniforms than it does the home ones. Bagshaw also rocking long socks. And the 2-1 is lined through the left side into left for a base hit. DJ Noble scores from third base. The throw goes home, but Bushnell holds up at third base. And just like that, it's 1-0 Rivets.
It's a great start for a team that's often on the wrong side of first inning runs. We'll see if the Rivets can continue to tack on here. Only 1 down.
The Rivets surrendered 10 runs in the top of the first inning yesterday and a 16-6 loss to Traverse City. Now they're trying to come back and jump all over Kenosha in the first inning here today. Runners on the corners for Johannes Hawkinson, and the first pitch to him is swung on and missed on a fastball on the outside corner, 0-1. Bushnell standing on third base. Bannon over on first. He's got good speed. He's being held on by Angelo Cantello, the first baseman. Bagshaw's 0-1 is lifted down the right field line, tailing just behind the Rivets bullpen and out of play. So it's 0-2 on Hawkinson. He was 2 for 4 yesterday with a 2-run home run over the Meyer Monster in left field at Rivet Stadium. And if he connects with another one, good chance he can send one out of here.
We've seen a lot of well-hit balls from Johannes Hawkinson, a few in Battle Creek. Definitely would have made it out here.
And the 0-2 is lifted into center field. Long run for Cam Collier, and he makes a running catch. Kevin Bushnell tags up from third base. He's going to come in to score, but Brandon Bannon was already at second base, so he scampers back to first. But it's a very well-hit sac fly for Johannes Hawkinson, and it's 2-0 Rivets in the top of the first.
I'll admit I'm surprised Bannon didn't head back. I understand normally on that ball you go halfway or even 3/4 of the way to look, but it seemed like Collier had a good read on that from the start. Bannon definitely would have had a chance at taking second.
So here's Justin Carestis with 2 down. Bannon still on first. First pitch to the left-handed batter, a called strike on a fastball on the outside corner, 0-1. Ethan, for such a bad game for the Rivets yesterday, their offense really performed well. Justin Carestis had a nice summer debut. The 0-1 is hammered to second baseman Byer. He dives, knocks it down, but he can't make the catch, and the throw to first is offline. Bannon will take off for third and make it there without a throw. Carestis remains at first base. An ugly play there for Josh Byer. Almost a spectacular grab to end the inning, but instead it's a hit for Carestis and then a throwing error to allow Bannon to move to third.
And going back to what you were saying about the offense yesterday, it has been weird in some of these blowout games. The Rivets offense has really gotten rolling and stayed consistent. It's just they get down early too big to come back.
That's not the case today. 4 singles in the first inning and 2 runs in. Rivets on top of the Kingfish, 2-0. Chance for Joaquin Moncay here in the first pitch to the righty. Breaking ball misses inside. 1-0. Moncay had the day off yesterday. It was scheduled to be a doubleheader until rain rolled through. There's going to be lots of rain talk on today's broadcast. Fair warning. Here's the 0-1. 1-0, excuse me, misses low and outside, and it's 2-0.
I heard a few guys in the locker room referring to Johannes Hawkinson as the bringer of rain with his first bomb yesterday, followed by a torrential downpour at Rivets Stadium.
That's a good one. 2-0. Line drive over Josh Beyer into right center field. Brandon Bannon trots home to score from third. Justin Carestis is going to get the wave around, and now the stop sign. He stops at third base as Joaquin Moncay cruises into second with an RBI double. 3-0 Rivets in the first.
Great swing for Joaquin there. We've seen a lot of extra base hits to the right side for him, an approach he kind of got out of during his slump, was rolling over a lot of balls to the left side. So it's good to see him build that back into his approach, going towards right center, and it paid off for him here.
Now the catcher, Luke Stevenson, will talk things over with Bryant Bagshaw. Out on the mound, a poor start for the right-hander from Minot State. Got to keep an eye on that first inning pitch count. Of course, if a pitcher in the Northwoods League throws over 35 pitches in an inning, he cannot continue into the next inning. How many times have we seen that for the Rivets in the first inning this summer? Bagshaw is going to go back to the windup to face Charlie Allison, left-handed batter, sophomore from Blackhawk College. First pitch to him. Breaking ball dots the outside corner. It's 0-1. Currently, Bagshaw is at 23 pitches. Working from the left side of the rubber, holds the glove in front of his face, nods at the catcher, Stevenson. Here's the 0-1. Fastball swung on and missed, a two-seamer on the outside corner. And Allison, who has been named the beer batter today, is down 0-2. Rivets already leading 3-2. Runners on second and third for Allison. Bagshaw takes a breath and fires the 0-2. Line drive falling fast into center. Cam Collier makes a sliding catch, and the inning is over. But the Rivets score 3 times. RBIs from Brandon Bannon, Johannes Hawkinson, and Joaquin Moncay put the Rivets in front early after a half. It's the Rivets 3 and the Kingfish coming up on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. It's the bottom of the third inning in Kenosha. Bottom of the third? Wow, way ahead of myself. Let's start over. It's the bottom of the first inning at historic Simmons Field in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and the Rivets lead the Kenosha Kingfish 3-0. 3 runs of support for Ryan Green heading into his first inning of work.
Really good first inning for the Rivets. A lot of great swings, really only one unproductive at-bat. Guys were really barreling up the ball, saw it early, and were spreading the field with it too, which is always a big thing for a team to be successful.
It's a stark contrast to yesterday's top half of the first inning, in which the Rivets surrendered 10 runs to the Traverse City Pittsbitters. The Rivets have lost 4 straight games, and it's their 5th losing streak of 4 games or more. Both the Rivets and the Kingfish are out of playoff contention with 4 games remaining for both sides. But the Rivets just trying to have a little fun on the way out of this 2021 summer campaign. Ryan Green, the junior from Concordia, Wisconsin, takes the ball for the Rivets today. He climbs on the rubber to face Spencer Hans, and he takes strike 1 on a fastball down the chute, and it's 0-1.
A great sight, that early strike for Ryan Green.
He kicks and fires the 0-1. Breaking ball misses down and outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And I say that because, as many of us know, Ryan Green really struggled to find the zone in his first start. 10 straight balls.
1-1 pitch. Fastball just off the outside corner. Monquet couldn't frame it up. And Green is behind 2 balls and 1 strike. That start was at Kalamazoo, game 2 of a doubleheader. 2-0 pitch. Slow roller down to third base. Brandon Bannon charges, gloves, throws off balance in time at first base. What a play by the sophomore from Illinois Springfield to start the defensive day for the Rivets.
You love to see that out of Brandon Bannon, a guy who's really starting to pick up third base well, is really enjoying playing over there, and that was just another example of what he's been able to learn playing the hot corner for the Rivets.
Rivets lead 3-0, bottom of the first inning, and here's Josh Leslie, the junior from McNeese State. But we talked about Green's first start. It came at the end of July. Here's his first pitch. Breaking ball called strike. That splits the plate. But Green had to come out after the first inning of that game, and that was a rough doubleheader for the Rivets. They were swept by the Growlers. Kick in the 0-1. Line drive well fouled down the left field side. It was hammered by Leslie, but it's quickly 0-2. But so often this summer, starts have set the tone for the Rivets. We talk about that gargantuan number, 137 runs allowed in the first 2 innings of games. And I think that's the foremost reason that the Rivets have a losing record this summer. Green comes home with the 0-2. It's rolled on down to shortstop to DJ Noble. He bends to a knee to field it, and he throws to first in time, and that's out number 2 as thunder roars at historic Simmons Field. It's just crossed our desk. Severe thunderstorm warning for Kenosha, Wisconsin. But we play on, at least for the moment.
Going back to those early runs, yeah, it is really hard to play from behind. We've seen a lot of exciting comeback wins for the Rivets, but you don't really want to play your game relying on a comeback win. You want to get ahead early and keep it rolling from there.
First pitch to Cam Collier. A fastball zips on the outside corner, taken for a called strike. Cam Collier, a right-handed batter, freshman from USF. So I'm sure he's chatting it up with his Bulls teammate behind the plate, Joaquin Monquet. The 0-1 is swung on and lifted foul. Out of play down the right field side. And it's 0-2. Ryan Green is pelting the zone right now.
There may not be a pitcher on the Rivets staff more confident than Ryan Green right now.
He has not allowed an earned run in his last 4 appearances over 8 innings. His 0-2 pitch, breaking ball misses low and away. Couldn't get Collier to chase, and it's 1-2. Cam Collier just had a very long on-base streak snapped. And the 1-2 is rolled to the hole at shortstop. Noble backhands and chucks over to first in time. And it's a 1-2-3, bottom of the first inning for Ryan Green and the Rockford Rivets. The Rivets maintain their 3-run lead headed to the second. After 1, it's 3-0 Rockford on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. Rockford Rivets 3, Kenosha Kingfish nothing. Headed to the top of the second inning at historic Simmons Field. The Rivets score 3 on 5 hits in the top of the first inning, and Ryan Green works a 1-2-3 bottom half. So things are looking good for the Rivets right now. A team that's lost 4 straight and is eliminated from playoff contention with 4 games remaining this summer. It'll be 9-1-2 against Bryant Bagshaw to start the second inning. And the first pitch to Jake Bellotta is hopped to shortstop, backhanded by Josh Leslie. Long throw over to first is not enough to get Bellotta. He beat the throw up the line. The throw from the shortstop Leslie was well high. Angelo Cantello showed off some good hops to keep the ball on the first base line, but his foot didn't come back onto the bag in time.
And Cantello, he came back down, but did not come back down on the bag. That was the difference maker there. It seemed like timing-wise they might have the chance to get Bellotta, but a tough break there after what was a well-gloved ball by Josh Leslie.
And now the umpires are going to get together to discuss this one. Jesse Crossett, the home plate umpire today, discusses things with his folks, and the call is confirmed safe. So that will be ruled an error on the shortstop, Josh Leslie. And the Rivets have the leadoff man on for the second straight inning to start the ball game. They lead 3-0 over Kenosha. And here's the leadoff man, DJ Noble. Righty on righty. Bagshaw sets at the belt and steps off to look back Bellotta. The lights have been flipped on at Simmons Field as rain is approaching from the west. Fingers crossed that it misses Simmons Field.
I was a bit worried about the visibility. It got gray very fast and looked around. The lights were still off.
Bagshaw steps off the rubber and throws to first base this time. Bellotta dives back safely, being held on by Angelo Cantello. Now the first pitch to Noble. Fastball misses just off the plate to the outside, and it's 1-0. Noble singled and came around to score in the first inning. Holds the bat above his black batting helmet. Now steadies the hands as the 1-0's on the way, and it's popped up on the infield. To the right side, the second baseman Byer charges, calls off the first baseman Cantello, and makes the catch on the pop-up. And that's out number 1 in the top of the second. 3-0 Rivets.
No batting, no left fielder. Number 21, Jack Kavanaugh.
Jake Bellotta remains on first base for Jack Kavanaugh, who was the first out of the first inning, perhaps surprisingly, as he's the hottest bat in this Rivets lineup. Bagshaw steps off and chucks over to first again. Bellotta back without a slide.
Bellotta, a guy with a speedy build, but we haven't seen a ton of aggressive base running out of him.
Bagshaw sets above the belt and delivers the first pitch. Breaking ball misses a little inside to Kavanaugh. 1-0. Bellotta has great speed. We've seen it. He's beat out a few infield hits this summer, but he takes a 3-step lead here. We'll see if he goes. The 1-0 is popped up down the right field line, shallow near the bullpen, and the first baseman Cantello makes the grab right in front of the first base camera, just in front of the seats, and that's a quick out number 2. 2 pop-outs for Kavanaugh today.
Really weird to see Jack Kavanaugh getting under the ball like that. He seemed to find a barrel every time he came to the plate for his first 6 games here. We'll see if he heats up. 7 more frames to go.
Rivets lead at 3-0 over Kenosha, and here's Kevin Bushnell with a runner on first base. First pitch from Bagshaw. Breaking ball misses low and outside. It's 1-0. Bushnell singled through the left side of the infield in the first inning and came around to score. Bagshaw deals. Fastball misses outside near the left-handed batter's box to the righty Bushnell. 2 balls, no strikes. Bellotta takes an extra step off first base now. An approximately 3-step lead. Bagshaw sets and fires. Called strike. Snap throw down to first base. Gets away from Cantello. So Bellotta dashes to second base. The throw from the right fielder, Wyatt Crenshaw, is a little bit offline. Wouldn't have been in time. But just like that, Jake Bellotta doesn't need to try to steal a base to move into scoring position.
And this is a really good guy to have in scoring position. If Kevin Bushnell stays hot, gets another base hit here, it's almost certain that Jake Bellata would score from second.
So the count is 2 balls and a strike on Bushnell. That'll be an error on the catcher, Luke Stevenson. So 3 errors for the Kingfish already. Bagshaw's 2-1. Breaking ball tomahawked foul just down the third base line. That was similar to Bushnell's hit in the first inning, only it stayed fair. Now it's 2-2 on the big right-handed batter. Bushnell adjusts his batting helmet, holds the bat out at Bagshaw. Spins it around a little bit. And awaits the 2-2. It's on the way. Fouled straight back. We'll have another.
Big hack there from Bushnell, looking maybe out at the Fishbowl Club. He's the guy everyone wants to see really get into a ball, and this would be the place to do it.
Well, it's a running joke within the team, or especially between me and you, that we mention every time that Bushnell has not hit a home run yet this summer because he hit 17 this spring. Something that he doesn't like to hear every time he comes to bat. Another 2-2, another foul ball, this time a slow chopper nearly off the foot of Bushnell. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And I like to get on Bush because I tell him, hey, you have more infield singles than home runs. Bushnell already has beaten out 2 infield singles this year, I believe, and has yet to put one over the fence.
A train zips by beyond the right field fence at Simmons Field. That's the horn you may have heard. The kick and another 2-2 as Bellata goes. It swung on and fouled off out of the stadium, off to the first base side, and we'll do it again. And it's interesting to me that so many players listen back to the video broadcast at home and hear what we have to say about him. And I bring that up for context, that he hit 17 home runs this spring and hasn't hit one so far this summer. 2-2, breaking ball, kicks away from the catcher Stevenson. He gets a good bounce off the backstop, but a good jump from Bellata sends him to third safely. So now the count is full with the runner on third for Bushnell with 2 down in the top of the second.
And a lot of the players, sometimes they aren't a huge fan of what's said on the broadcast, but you and I both know our job up here is to state facts. And if the fact is that Kevin Bushnell has no home runs this year, then we're going to talk about it.
Well, I doubt that Kevin takes it personally. I hope he doesn't at least, but like you said, it's just the fact of the matter. The wind and the payoff pitch, swinging a drive, deep left field, and it's a Bush bomb. Way out of here. Kevin Bushnell rips his first home run of the summer after belting 17 this spring for Benedictine University, and the Rivets extend their lead to 5-0 in the top of the second.
And that was just as exciting as we expected it to be. Bushnell jumping on that curveball and absolutely crushing it over the second fence out in left field.
That one sailed out of the property. I hope nobody was parked at the strip mall parking lot beyond the stadium, because we might have to deal with a broken window. Brandon Bannon climbs in with the bases empty now, and the first pitch is a fastball that paints the outside corner, taken for a called strike. Well, it's funny how that works, Ethan. Maybe we jinxed that fact. The 0-1 breaking ball catches the outside corner, 0-2 on Bannon. Bannon 1 for 1 with a single. Here's the 0-2. Swinging a slow roller down to third. It's foul. Bushnell was excited about that home run. He watched it fly a little bit on his way out of the batter's box. Let off a nice little bat flip in front of the Rivets' first base dugout. He's an intimidating looking guy. Long hair, bushy beard, pretty stoic. The 0-2, this one's chopped on the ground to third base, fair this time. Spencer Hands throws to first base, offline, and Bannon slides underneath the tag. An incredible play by Brandon Bannon. It looked like Cantello may have gotten the tag on him, but the first base umpire says he missed it. So the Rivets have another base runner in the top of the second, leading 5-0.
And we'll see which way that one's scored, possibly the fourth error.
Another error on the Kenosha Kingfish. 4. First pitch to Johannes Hawkinson. Breaking ball misses low and outside. 1 ball and no strikes on Hawkinson, who had a sacrifice fly in the first inning. 1-0. Fastball tails too far inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Rivets jumping all over Bryant Bagshaw. 5 hits and 3 runs in the first, and a Kevin Bushnell 2-run homer in the top of the second. Bagshaw sets and delivers. Fastball catches the lower reaches of the zone, taken for a called strike. 2-1.
And it's probably a welcome relief for the Rivets to be playing a team that's in a similar position as them. A lot of their games over the last 2 weeks have been against the Pittsburghs and Jackrabbits, the 2 playoff teams from the Great Lakes East.
2-1 pitch. Fastball dots the outside corner. It's even at 2. That's a good point. I think the Rivets came into this game pretty loose. And that's how things tend to go down the stretch of the season when a team is eliminated from playoff contention. But it tends to be a little bit more fun for some guys. Bannon takes off with the pitch, and it's swung on and tapped foul. So we'll have another 2-2. Lights shining down on historic Simmons Field in the early evening, just 6:40. But dark clouds are rolling in. Here's another 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Bryant Bagshaw waves his arm around in frustration or perhaps celebration as he ends another frustrating half inning. The Rivets scored 2 more runs with 1 swing of the bat. A mammoth home run for Kevin Bushnell. His first of the summer makes it 5-0 Rivets after 1.5 on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. Bottom of the second inning in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Rivets lead the Kenosha Kingfish 5-0. 4 games left in the season, all between these 2 teams. Rivets with a hot start, looking to snap a 4-game losing streak. Ryan Green's first pitch of the second to Luke Stevenson. Misses down and outside. It's 1-0. Green worked a 1-2-3 bottom of the first inning. Stark contrast to his opposition, Bryant Bagshaw. The wind and the 1-0 is soared in the air to deep right center field. Charlie Allison gives chase. Johannes Hawkinson makes a running grab on the warning track. He lost his hat in the process, but it didn't matter. Hawkinson showing off the speed for out number 1.
And we know how good Johannes Hawkinson is in center field. Has fantastic range and a surprising arm for a guy of his build. Good call there by the less experienced Charlie Allison to give way to Johannes.
Allison usually an infielder. Base is empty for Matt Corman, righty on righty in the first pitch. Breaking ball misses inside, 1-0. Corman is a redshirt junior from UW Whitewater, so 2 guys who attend college in Wisconsin. 1-0 pitch, swinging a foul ball off the glove of Monke. 1 ball, 1 strike. But on the other side of things, Ethan, aside from the defense for Rockford, Ryan Green looks so confident on the mound. He fires the 1-1 pitch. It's swung on and rolled to shortstop. DJ Noble gobbles it up and tosses to first base in time for out number 2. 5 up, 5 down. Worked for Ryan Green through an inning and 2/3.
I agree with the confidence note on Ryan Green. He's working very fast, something that we see out of pitchers that are really in their zone, trying to create their own rhythm, establish their own pace of the game. So Ryan Green doing a really good job of that, getting on the mound quick and throwing that ball into the strike zone time after time.
First pitch to Wyatt Crenshaw is taken for a called strike. Fastball on the outside corner, 0-1. Crenshaw, the lone left-handed hitter for the Kingfish today against the righty Green. Here's the 0-1. Breaking ball misses outside, just near the same spot that he got that strike 1 call. But no less, it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Crenshaw batting .305 in his limited time with the Kingfish this summer. Here's the 1-1. Called strike on a curveball that catches the lower reaches of the zone. It's 1-2. But Crenshaw has a hit in 14 of his last 15 games. Not something you might expect from a player batting 6th. Green winds and deals. Fastball misses in the right-handed batter's box to the lefty Crenshaw, 2-2.
And although he didn't get that call there, that's a great spot for Ryan Green working that outer edge. May get Crenshaw to get one off the end of the bat.
Swing and a miss on the 2-2 pitch. A curveball down and outside, and Ryan Green picks up his first strikeout through 2 innings of work. 6 up, 6 down for Green. And the Rivets still lead 5-0 after 2 from historic Simmons Field in Kenosha, Wisconsin on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. Headed to the 3rd in Kenosha, Wisconsin. It's the Rivets 5 and the Kingfish 0. Game number 68 of 71 for the Rockford Rivets, and they've jumped all over Bryant Bagshaw in the first 2 innings. He deals to Justin Carestis to start the 3rd. Fastball misses high and outside, 1-0. Crestis, the sixth batter in the Rivets order. He singled in the first inning, part of a 3-run frame for the Rivets. The kick in, the 1-0 to the lefty. Swing and a miss on a foul tip into the glove of Stevenson. 1-1. But I think the highlight of this game so far, undoubtedly a long home run from Kevin Bushnell in the top of the second inning, his first as a Rockford Rivet. Bagshaw winds and fires, and the 1-1 is swung on and missed. Crestis comes up empty that time, no foul tip, and it's 1-2.
I definitely agree with that statement. A really exciting first inning, but that second inning, seeing a ball hit that far was definitely got the fans going, even though they are on the wrong side of it.
The 1-2 pitch, a little looper over the head of the shortstop Leslie into shallow center field. Crestis takes a big round around first base, and he'll stop there. It's a leadoff knock for the freshman from Northwood University. 2 for 2 today, and 4 for 8 as a Rockford Rivet so far this summer. So here's Joaquin Monque. He had an RBI double back in the first inning.
Monque might be a guy trying to join Kevin Bushnell's party.
First pitch to him. Swinging a drive into center field right at Cam Collier. He moves back on it and makes a running grab, steps in front of the warning track. Crestis retreats back to first base. And there's one away in the top of the third with the Rivets leading 5-zip.
And that ball definitely had the distance to get out in left field towards the Fishbowl Club, but a sharp turn by the fence in left center. That center field here at Simmons Field is just as deep as many of the other ballparks we see around the Northwoods League.
It's deeper than Rivet Stadiums. Here's Charlie Allison. First pitch to the lefty. Swung on and popped foul off to the third base side and well out of play. Look out in the parking lot. It's 0-1. Allison flied out into center field to end the first inning for Rockford. He leans back a little bit in the left-handed batter's box. Slightly closed stance. Here's the 0-1. It's flared foul again off to the third base side near the parking lot. Quickly 0-2 on Allison, who has been named the beer batter.
Charlie Allison once again making it pretty interesting for the fans. Got into a 2-strike count last time before his line out. We'll see what the end result of this at-bat is.
Here's the 0-2, another pop foul over the screen. We'll do it again. Of course, the tradition around Northwoods League stadiums is if a player strikes out when they're named the beer batter, fans get half off or a certain discount on some beer until the end of the inning. Another 0-2, breaking ball misses low as lightning flashes in the distance. The count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes on Allison.
And I know before the game, Kevin Bushnell asked me if he could be the beer batter. I obviously don't have much of a say in it, although I did predict that Charlie Allison would be the pick, so I got that right.
The 1-2 is popped foul, a little deeper down the third base line this time and out of play again. No less, a good battle from Allison here, who has struggled a little bit to start his summer, hitting just 167. And he struck out a lot this spring at Olney Central College, and that's something he told me he wanted to work on in his stint with the Rivets. Bagshaw sets and fires. Swinging a slow roller to the hole at second base. Josh Beyer gathers and throws in time to first base. No double play. Crestis hustling up to second base. Rivets now have a runner in scoring position with 2 down in the top of the third inning, leading by 5. Jake Bellata climbs in now. He reached on a hard-hit error to shortstop to start the second inning and came around to score on the Bushnell homer. Dark clouds starting to cover the sky. First pitch, swung on and popped up into shallow center field. Cam Collier camps underneath it and starts to backpedal as he makes the play to end the inning. The Rivets strand Justin Crestis on second base after a leadoff single, but they still lead 5-0 after 2.5 on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. Rockford Rivets 5, Kenosha Kingfish nothing. Cruising along to the bottom of the third as rain approaches historic Simmons Field in Kenosha, Wisconsin. First pitch from Ryan Green to Angelo Cantello, flied foul out of play down the first base side. Green has set down all 6 batters he's faced, in stark contrast to his opponent Bryant Bagshaw, who's surrendered 5 runs through 3 innings. Cantello, the sophomore from Lewis University, grounds the 0-1 to shortstop. DJ Noble makes the routine play for a quick out number 1 to start the bottom of the third.
On the topic of rain, we were a bit unsure coming into today whether or not a big storm cell hitting southern Wisconsin would miss us or crush us today. We have yet to see the pitchers evacuate the bullpen on either side. It looks like there's a bit of movement on the Rivets side, though, now.
First pitch to the righty, Chase Gibson. He takes ball, breaking ball low. As lightning continues to strike around the stadium, we play on. Green nods and fires the 1-0. Swinging a foul back to the screen. Quickly 1-1 on Chase Gibson, the junior from William Woods University. Gibson, one of 3 catchers on the Kenosha roster. All of them are in the lineup in some shape or form today. Gibson with a 5-game on-base streak. Long pause from Green, and now the 1-1. Swinging a grounder down to third base, backhanded by Bannon. He fires across the diamond, a little down the line, but Crestis fields it and tags out Gibson for out number 2.
A lot of action on the left side of the infield so far for Brandon Bannon and DJ Noble. 2 ground balls and 3 ground balls respectively.
And they've all done a nice job with them. Rivets defense has looked pretty darn solid today behind Ryan Green, trying to work a perfect first 3 innings. Here's the first pitch to Josh Byer. Fastball finds the lower half of the zone, taken for a called strike. Byer, the junior from Milwaukee School of Engineering, started the summer on the Kingfish, took the middle part of the summer off, and has now returned. The 0-1, breaking ball misses on the dirt. Low and outside, 1-1.
The fans seem unfazed by the looming storm clouds. Maybe they're a little more confident than we are that the cell will miss Simmons Field.
Green rocks and fires. Swinging a chopper right back to the mound. Green gloves it and flips underhand to Justin Crestis at first base for another 1-2-3 inning. 9 up, 9 down the first time through the order for the right-hander from Concordia University, Wisconsin. And after 3, it's the Rivets 5 and the Kingfish nothing on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. Top of the 4th inning at historic Simmons Field in Kenosha, Wisconsin. The Rivets lead their Great Lakes East rival Kenosha 5-0 with just 4 games remaining this summer. Both these teams out of playoff contention, but bragging rights on the line. Bryant Bagshaw deals the first pitch to G.J. Noble, the Rivets leadoff batter. And he takes a breaking ball inside for ball 1. Noble is 1 for 2 with a single and a pop out. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fastball dots the outside corner, taken for a called strike 1. In case you're just joining us, the Rivets started the game with 3 runs on 5 hits in the top of the first, and then followed with 2 in the second. The 1-1 offering misses down and outside to Noble, the shortstop. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Both those runs in the second inning coming on 1 swing from Kevin Bushnell, a 2-run shot, his first home run of the summer. Bagshaw winds and fires. A slow curveball misses inside. And D.J. Noble is ahead 3-1. He taps the plate twice, gazes out at Bagshaw, and here's the pitch. Called strike, fastball on the outside corner. Noble started walking to first base. He thought it was ball 4, but instead we'll have a payoff pitch as dark storm clouds roll in from beyond left field. Bagshaw's payoff pitch. Called strike 3, fastball on the outside corner. D.J. Noble wants to talk about it a little bit with Jesse Crossett, the home plate umpire. It's a civil conversation. And now Noble will head back to the Rivets first base dugout, frustrated.
Those pitches on the outside black, especially for a guy who's a little smaller like DJ Noble and might not have the reach to barrel that, can be really frustrating to see called as strikes.
First pitch to Jack Kavanaugh misses down and outside. No doubt about that one. It's 1-0. Rivets lead Kenosha 5-0. Kavanaugh 0 for 2. And the 1-0. Breaking ball misses low and outside again. 2 balls, no strikes on Kavanaugh, who has struggled a little bit today, uncharacteristically. He's trying to extend a 6-game hit streak. Moves the bat back and forth on his shoulder. And the 2-0 is a little flare to second base. Josh Byers shades into shallow right and makes the catch. 3 pop-outs for Jack Kavanaugh, and he's 0 for 3. And the bases are empty now with 2 outs for the aforementioned Kevin Bushnell, who's 2 for 2, halfway to the cycle.
Going back to Kavanaugh, though, really weird to not see him hitting balls hard. Like you said, 3 weak pop-outs to the right side of the infield, so clearly does not have a good read on Bagshaw here, isn't getting his hands around in time.
First pitch to Bush. Swung on and fouled straight back to the screen. It's 0-1. But one of the last times the Rivets played here, Phil Matulia hit for the cycle. Just got to put that out there. That was way back in the first game of the second half. Bagshaw's 0-1. Reached out and fouled off down the first base line. And it's 0-2.
And while I'm not ruling it out of the realm of possibility, a cycle for Kevin Bushnell could be difficult. He'd have to really get one out to center field to get that elusive triple that often is where a lot of players fall short on the cycle.
The kick in the 0-2. Fastball sails high, and it's 1-2. You make a great point there. Sometimes Bushnell struggles to hustle out doubles, so a triple might be a tall ask. Bagshaw's 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball runs up near the helmet of Bushnell. He leans out of the way. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As the wind starts to pick up, and we can see those clouds starting to move in from the distance. We've been able to watch this storm. Bird's eye view up here in the press box. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball misses low and away. The count is full as a lightning strike spooks some fans. Bushnell in an open batting stance, gazing out at Bagshaw. Here's the payoff pitch. Swung on and popped up to the left side of the infield. In foul ground, Spencer Hands, the third baseman, in front of the seats, now trailing back towards the infield, and the shortstop, Josh Leslie, bails him out by making the catch. It looked like Hands had called off Leslie, but Leslie stood in foul territory just in case and reached above the third baseman to make the grab and end the inning. For the first time today, the Rivets go down in order, but the score remains. Rivets 5, Kenosha nothing on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. Headed to the bottom of the fourth at Simmons Field in Kenosha, Wisconsin. It's the Rivets leading their Great Lakes East rival 5-0, thanks to all 5 runs coming in the first 2 frames. And on the other side of the scorecard, Ryan Green, the junior from Concordia, Wisconsin, is absolutely dealing, as he has continued to in his last 3 appearances. And how about let's make it 4? In his last 4 appearances, which have totaled to 11 innings of work, he's yet to allow an earned run. And he'll work against the top half of the Kenosha order, starting with Spencer Hands. First pitch, swing and a miss on a fastball on the outside corner. It's 0-1.
And that'll just show you right there how good Ryan Green's been so far. Not a guy that gets a lot of swing and misses on fastballs.
The kick in the 0-1, another swing and miss from Hands, this time a little bit of a half swing.
And Ryan Green celebrating with a sword on the mound for a big strike 2 there.
He rocks and fires the 0-2, swinging a foul back. We'll do it again. But Green is pitching with supreme confidence right now. After he ended the second inning with a strikeout of Wyatt Crenshaw, he stared him down a little bit. I mean, he is rocking and rolling. Here's another 0-2. Breaking ball misses low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. But you look at Green and you look at his numbers and you see that ERA over 4 and you might think, not that impressive, but that has not told the story of his summer. The 1-2 pitch misses down and away again. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Definitely tough. A lot of times guys will come out of summer leagues with numbers that are less than optimal, but that's more because they get dragged down by a bad appearance or 2.
2-2, breaking ball misses inside, and Spencer Hands thought he had a walk. He tossed the bat to the third base dugout and started trotting to first base, but that's just ball 3. So now the count has run full on the freshman from UW-La Crosse. Green with a wide stance, towing the rubber. Here's his payoff pitch. Breaking ball misses high, and there's Kenosha's first base runner of the ball game to start the top of the 4th.
And clearly I have not adjusted to the high angle we're looking at the game from here, because to me that looked right down the middle, but obviously no argument there from Green or Moncay, so I guess it was a ball, but I definitely thought that was a strike.
Here's Josh Leslie, the junior from McNeese State, Kenosha native. Green steps off and fires over to first base. His signature swift pickoff move. We've seen him pick off at least 1 or 2 players this summer. He lets the right arm hang from the stretch, sets below the belt, and delivers the first offering. Instead, he steps off and throws over to first base, and it gets away from Carestas, so Hands moves into scoring position at second base relatively easily.
Carestas maybe not familiar with Ryan Green's move. It is very quick, and as hard as it is to pick up for a runner, a first baseman can have the same struggles.
And Carestas isn't the swiftest runner over there at first base. He had a hard time getting to it. And now, before the first pitch to Leslie, Joaquin Moncay is going to come out to talk things over with Green, probably to run through a new set of signs with a runner on second base. Moncay gives his pitcher a tap on the chest as he heads back behind the plate. First mound meeting for the Rivets. Top of the 4th inning, Rivets lead 5-0 over the Kingfish. Last week of the season, just 4 games remain. Both these teams playing for bragging rights and pride. Nobody's making the playoffs in this matchup. First pitch to Leslie, cut on and missed on a fastball on the outside corner. 0-1. Leslie is 0 for 1 with a ground out to shortstop in the first. He's sporting a .346 batting average this summer. The kick in the 0-1. Swung on and flied into center field, relatively deep. Hawkinson's still back on it. It steps in front of the warning track. He makes the catch. Hands is going to try to tag from second base, and he'll make it into third, as the throw was not in time and a little bit offline from Hawkinson. So now Kenosha's first run of the ball game is 90 feet away with 1 out in the bottom of the 4th.
Johannes Hawkinson maybe showing his cards a little there. You kind of want to wait to have your first big throw from the outfield so that runners aren't really expecting it. Didn't really have much of a chance at Hands there. Really deep ball. He did make an accurate throw and a very strong throw, but That ball was just too far back towards the warning track.
Here's Cam Collier, the freshman from USF. First pitch to him, swinging a ground ball to shortstop. DJ Noble drops to Anita Field, and he throws in time over to first base. Good stretch from Carestis for out number 2, but that scores hands from third base. And the Kingfish are on the board in the bottom of the 4th. It's now 5-1. So an RBI for Cam Collier, his 15th this summer. But Ryan Green recovering nicely from that leadoff walk that eventually cost him his scoreless streak. Here's Luke Stevenson, the junior transferring from Xavier to Elon. First pitch. Breaking ball misses low, 1-0.
And there is still a chance he may be able to hold on to the no earned runs streak, as the moving up on the pickoff move may save him from that.
1-0, breaking ball misses inside, 2-0. However, the caveat there is, I know this is not how the rule works, it's Green's fault because it was an error on him. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Breaking ball bounces, so that's ball 3 as the sky starts to lighten up a little bit here in Kenosha. The storm that had the severe thunderstorm warning on it has sailed north of Simmons Field, so things are lightening up. Green rocks and fires the 3-0. Fastball misses down and outside, and it's a 4-pitch walk to Luke Stevenson.
And we were talking about unearned versus earned runs there. If I'm not mistaken, I think on a wild pitch, it is an earned run. On a pass ball, it's not. I think the pitchers are at least held accountable there.
Yes. Yes, but looking at the line for Green, he's not charged with an earned run.
Yet.
Which yes, yet, which makes sense. Stevenson takes his lead off of first, and the first pitch to Matt Corman. Misses outside, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. This storm has provided a lot of entertaining lightning, and lucky for us, it has not come close enough to the stadium to stop the game. Green steps off and slings the ball over to first base. Stevenson back without a slide. Corman waves the bat back and forth. He's 0 for 1 with a ground out. Green's 1-0. Fastball dots the outside corner, taken for a called strike 1. Green stretches out, gets the sign from Monque, sets below the belt, and delivers the 1-1. It's a little blooper into shallow right. Nobody's going to get there. Allison can't track it down, and so it's a bloop single with 2 outs. And there goes the no-hitter in the bottom of the 4th inning. Kingfish break it up, and they've already got 1 run in here in the 4th frame. Rivets lead 5-1.
I won't lie, I was getting a little excited there to see Ryan Green try to bring this farther and farther into the game. We did see the Rivets carry a no-hitter very deep into an opening day matchup with these Kingfish right here at Simmons Field.
A little bit of deja vu. First pitch to Wyatt Crenshaw. Fastball sails high. 1 ball, no strikes. Crenshaw, the junior from Colorado Christian, struck out swinging. Green's lone strikeout victim back in the 2nd. The kick in the 1-0. Fastball catches the outside corner for a called strike 1. Green working from the left side of the rubber. Lets his right arm hang as he gets the sign from Monque. Long pause from him. Luke Stevenson off of second base and Matt Corman off of first. Now Green sets and fires the 1-1. Swinging a chopper up the middle. DJ Noble, the shortstop, flips to second for the fielder's choice to cut down Corman and end the bottom of the 4th inning. The Kingfish get 1 and break up the no-hitter against Ryan Green, but Green works around 2 two-out base runners to keep the score at 5-1. Rivets headed to the 5th inning on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. Rockford Rivets 5, Kenosha Kingfish 1, headed to the 5th inning at Simmons Field in Kenosha, Wisconsin. The Rivets scored 3 runs in the first and 2 in the second to jump all over the starter Bryant Bagshaw. Kenosha scoring their first run last half inning. An unearned run on an RBI ground out from Cam Collier. Other than that, Green has been stellar and Bryant Bagshaw quite the opposite. Struggling against the Rivets, at least early. He settled in with a 1-2-3 inning back in the 4th. So he'll look to keep that momentum going as he works against 3, 4, 5 in the Rivets order, starting with Brandon Bannon. Righty on righty matchup, and the first pitch to the sophomore from Illinois Springfield is swung on and popped foul off to the right side into the screen.
Well played by Johannes Hawkinson off the net. A guy that always seems to find himself in position for those plays and makes them pretty consistently.
I suppose you'd expect that from a center fielder. The 0-1 curveball dots the outside corner. A good pitch from Bagshaw. It's 0-2 on Bannon, who's 1 for 2. Had an RBI single in the first and reached on an error in the second. Bagshaw rocks and fires, and it's hammered down the left field line, foul.
And that one's going to be really frustrating for Brandon Bannon. That ball was laced down the line, probably only landed about a foot and a half foul.
So it remains 0-2. We've talked about it time and time again on the broadcast, but Bannon has barreled balls game after game in his stint with the Rivets these last 2 weeks. Here's another 0-2. Breaking ball bounces on the dirt, stopped by Stevenson with nobody on base, so it's 1-2. But Bannon's a good hitter, and I've got a feeling that things will probably even out for him over this last weekend. 1-2 pitch, reached out and poked into shallow right field in the air. Wyatt Crenshaw makes the grab, feet in front of the line. That's out number 1 for Bagshaw. He's retired the last 7 Rivets he's faced. So the bases are empty for Johannes Hawkinson. He had a sacrifice fly in the first inning. Rivets lead at 5-1, top of the 5th inning. Game number 68 of 72 for these Rivets. First pitch from Bagshaw. Swinging a foul back. Hawkinson was right on that, but it's 0-1.
And you can tell even with these foul balls, the Rivets continue to see Bagshaw well. They're picking up his pitches early and getting their hands out in front of the ball.
Bagshaw's 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball darts outside too far. So it's 1-1 against Hawkinson. Bagshaw quickly gets the sign and fires the 1-1 pitch. Another curveball, another ball. This time well low and away. So it's 2-1. Hawkinson struck out swinging his last time. 2-1 offering. Reached out and poked into the first base grandstand over the arms of some outstretched hands. And it's 2-2. Bagshaw delivers. Fastball misses outside. He was getting ready to walk around the mound and get into a strut, but that pitch was off the plate. So the count has run full on the Rivets center fielder. The kick and the payoff. Swinging another foul back, so we'll do it again. As a wasp has entered the Simmons Field press box, our color man Ethan Blake moves away from the window.
Pretty tight quarters here. I was awfully close to that wasp or hornet.
Another payoff, swing and a miss on a high fastball. And that's out number 2 in the top of the 5th with the Rivets leading 5-1. Bagshaw starting to settle in. He's done a good job after a really rough start. He'll have a challenge here against Justin Carestis, one of 2 lefties in the Rivets order. He's 2 for 2. Bagshaw's first offering. Fastball tails too far outside, 1-0.
And it's good to see Carestas coming in here, swinging the bat well. The Rivets shorthanded on position players, pretty much play the same 9 guys every day.
1-0 pitch, breaking ball for a called strike. Bagshaw with a different angle there against the lefty. But a good pitch, so it's 2-2. 1-1, excuse me. Getting ahead of myself again. And the 1-1 is hopped to the second baseman, Josh Beyer. He fields it on one hop and makes the easy play to first base. It's back-to-back 1-2-3 innings for Bagshaw. He's retired the last 9 Rivets in consecutive order. So the score remains Rivets 5, Kingfish 1, headed to the bottom of the 5th on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. It's the bottom of the 5th inning at Simmons Field in Kenosha, Wisconsin. The Rivets lead their Great Lakes East rival, the Kenosha Kingfish, 5-1. Behind 4 solid innings from Ryan Green. He's only surrendered 1 unearned run. And some solid early offense for the Rivets. 5 runs all in the first 2 innings. Green dealing to the lower third of the order. And he fires the first pitch to Angelo Cantello. It misses low and away. 1-0. Cantello, the 7th batter in the Kingfish order. He's 0 for 1 with a ground out. 1-0. Breaking ball splits the plate, taken for a called strike 1.
And Larry, do we want to talk about what we just saw between innings?
Probably, because it was a lot to digest. Green rocks and fires. And the pitch is hammered down the left field line. The left fielder, Kavanaugh, over to cut it off, and it gets by him to the left field wall. Cantello on his horse, and he'll cruise into second with a stand-up double to start the bottom of the 5th. It'll be a single and an error on Jack Kavanaugh rather than a double. So I take that bat back. 2 errors on the Rivets so far today. But between innings, we saw a signature between-inning entertainment feature at Simmons Field where the mascot Elvis dances with some folks dressed as Elvis. So it's the Dancing Elvi. First pitch to Chase Gibson. Pitch misses low and away. It's 1-0. But then halfway through the dance, Elvis, the fish mascot, took off his jersey and started waving it around over his head pretty suggestively. The 1-0 pitch is swung on and fouled back to the screen. 1-1. But I can honestly say that's the first time that I've seen a Northwoods League mascot strip in the middle of a game.
I'd have to agree with you there. I haven't been here as long as you, so you would have a lot more opportunities to see that, but definitely got the fans engaged here. We're fortunate to have a good crowd on hand here Wednesday night in Kenosha. Last home series of the year for the Kingfish.
1-1 from Green. Breaking ball dots the inside corner. It's 1-2. Rivets out in front 5-1 in the bottom of the fifth. Cantello on second base. I'm not sure whether or not I was expecting that. You expect some shenanigans with dancing mascots, dancing interns, and whatnot, but oh man, that took a turn. The 1-2, fastball misses up and in. It's back even at 2 apiece.
And from what I was hearing from other people in the press box, that is something new. Elvis has not stripped down before. So pulling out all the stops.
He kept his crown on. He kept his crown on.
Pulling out all the stops for the final week.
They kick in the 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. A breaking ball dropped out of the zone to Gibson, and that's the first out of the bottom of the fifth frame. So that brings up the 9 batter, Josh Byer. Byer grounded out back to the pitcher in the 3rd inning. The most interesting thing about seeing a mascot costume without any garments on it, like a jersey or even pants, is that it's usually just one color, and it looks a little awkward. First pitch swung on and fouled back to the screen by Byer, 0-1. So Elvis, if I'm not mistaken, is a all dark gold body. And so here was this fish just dancing around without any other accessories. It was something. The 0-1 bounces, knocked down by Monkey to keep Cantello at second base. I do remember when the Cubs mascot, Clark the Cub, first came out, there was an uproar because Clark the Cub didn't have any pants. And people thought that was a little weird. I suppose he can get away with it, though.
Winnie the Pooh style.
Yes. Green sets and fires. Swing and a miss on an off-speed offering, 1-2. And I suppose when you think about it, Elvis the fish doesn't have pants either. I think it would be hard for a fish to wear pants.
I have no comment on that. I don't even know what to say to that.
The set and the 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him on a tailing breaking ball. Back-to-back Ks for Green. That's 3 on the evening. With Cantello remaining on second base, there's 2 down in the bottom of the fifth with the Rivets out in front 5-1.
It's interesting to see that Ryan Green only has 3 Ks on the night, 2 in these last 2 batters, because we talked before the game, what's really been dominant recently is that curveball as a swing and miss strikeout pitch.
Here's the top of the order in Spencer Hands. He reached and scored his last time up. First pitch. Bounces, knocked down by Monkey. So Cantello retreats to second base. He started moving towards third, but Monkey came up quick, and he's been solid defensively behind the plate tonight.
I was just about to say the same thing. Joaquin's really been jumping on a lot of those breaking balls. Ryan Green, a guy that has a lot of spin no matter what pitch he's throwing, so it can be tough to really knock those down, but so far keeping the runners in check and not giving up any free bases.
Hands entering tonight is 6 for 8 on the summer with just 1 RBI. Chance for another here, and he grounds one sharply to the shortstop. Knocked down by Noble. He recovers and throws to first in time. So Ryan Green leaves a runner in scoring position by setting down 3 straight batters to end the 5th inning. Rivets still lead 5-1, headed to the 6th on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. Headed to the 6th inning at Simmons Field in Kenosha, Wisconsin, with the Rivets out in front of their Great Lakes East rival Kenosha 5-1. All 5 runs coming in the first 2 innings, and there's a new arm into the ball game for Kenosha. It's the lefty Alex Saunders.
Saunders, a new addition to the Kingfish, attends school locally at Wisconsin Parkside. 3 appearances, all 1 inning each. Not a ton to look at here. Most recently gave up 3 earned runs at Kalamazoo, but altogether 3 hits allowed across those 3 innings and 2 strikeouts. So pretty small sample size for Saunders. We'll see how he fares in just his 2nd appearance at home.
He'll work to the lower third of the Rivets order, 7, 8, 9, starting with Joaquin Monque, who's 1 for 2 with an RBI double back in the 1st inning. Saunders working from the stretch. Here's his first pitch. A 3/4 fastball misses low, 1-0. Saunders with long flowing hair out the back of his Kingfish cap. Cream-colored home uniforms for the Kingfish with Kingfish text across the front. Red trim. The 1-0 pitch. Fastball tails too far outside. And it's 2-0. Saunders with just 1 walk in those 3 innings of work, so pretty good command at least so far. He sets at the belt and delivers the 2-0. It swung on and popped up to the right side of the infield. The second baseman, Josh Beyer, calls off the first baseman, Cantello, and gloves it for a quick out number 1.
We have yet to see the wind take over any pop flies and really change the results of today's game. We saw one that was saved by Kenosha shortstop Josh Leslie, but so far every high pop fly up in the infield has been caught.
Base is empty for Charlie Allison, who's 0 for 2. Lefty on lefty. The first pitch. Breaking ball misses high and tight, 1-0. Rivets out in front, 5-1, top of the 6th. Perhaps Kenosha went to the bullpen to the lefty to create a good matchup for the beer batter. And the 1-0 is fouled straight back. It's 1-1. But Allison has struggled with the strikeout. He's got 11 of them so far this summer. About 1 every 3 at-bats, and this is his 3rd at-bat, so you could say he's due for a K. The 1-1. Wipeout slider misses way outside. Allison watches it all the way. It's 2-1.
And the fans are ready for it. One thing about those big first 2 frames is more at-bats for the Rockford hitters, so Charlie Allison in his 3rd of what will probably be 5 ABs today.
2-1 misses down and out. So it's 3 balls and a strike on the sophomore headed to Blackhawk College. He spins the bat around in his hands a little bit, gazing out at Saunders, and the pitch. It's popped up to the right side of the infield. Now shallow outfield. Wyatt Crenshaw, the right fielder, is called off by Cam Collier in center. He makes the 2-handed grab for out number 2. So Allison is 0 for 3, and that brings up Jake Bellotta, who's 0 for 2. He reached and scored following an error in the 2nd inning. Left-handed pitcher, right-handed batter, and the first pitch to Bellotta. Fastball zips a little bit high, 1-0. Rivets ahead of Kenosha, 5-1. Ryan Green has been phenomenal on the other side of the scorecard for Rockford. The 1-0 offering, fastball a little bit too far outside, 2-0. Green at 63 pitches, and Bagshaw threw 90 through 5 innings of work. Here's the 2-0. Fastball misses a hair outside. Bellotta thought about going around. He did not, and it's 3-0. Final line on Bagshaw, 5 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, 3 of which were earned. No walks and 3 Ks. The kick in, the 3-0. Misses well high, and it's a 4-pitch walk issued to the Rivets 9-batter Jake Bellotta.
Looking at those 63 pitches for Ryan Green is a really good sight for JT Scara and the bullpen. Working at just over 12 pitches an inning, that's enough to get you definitely to the 7th at this point, but you'd have a chance at the 8th and even the 9th, but don't want to get too far ahead of myself here.
Here's the first pitch to DJ Noble. Breaking ball misses well outside, 1-0. The Rivets have had a starting pitcher go into the 8th and through the 8th. Here at historic Simmons Field earlier this season, Jace Warkentine went 8 full. Here's the 1-0 as the runner goes. Pitch misses high and outside. The throw down is in time by a mile. Luke Stevenson hoses Jake Bellotta, and the sophomore from Rockford is caught stealing to end the top of the 6th inning. The Rivets are once again kept off the scoreboard. They have not scored since the 2nd inning, but they lead 5-1. Headed to the bottom of the 6th on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. It's the last of the 6th inning in Kenosha, with the Rockford Rivets leading the Kenosha Kingfish 5-1. 4 games remain in the Northwoods League season. Both these squads playing for bragging rights as they're both out of playoff contention. Ryan Green, the Rivets starting pitcher, out for a 6th inning of work. He'll face 2, 3, 4 in the Fish order, starting with Josh Leslie, who's 0 for 2. Righty-on-righty matchup here, and Green rocks and delivers the first pitch. Breaking ball for a called strike on the inside black. It's 0-1.
Like you said, this will be a really defining inning for Ryan Green. 2, 3, 4 coming up. 3rd time through the lineup. We'll see how they adjust.
Here's the 0-1. Swinging a fastball, grounded through the left side for a base hit. So it's a leadoff single for Josh Leslie. Kenosha with the leadoff man on for the 3rd straight inning against Green. That brings up Cam Collier, who has the Kingfish lone RBI. But he's 0 for 2 with 2 ground outs to shortstop. Leslie with decent speed on first base, being held on by Carestis in the first pitch to Collier, swinging a tomahawk down the left field line past the diving Brandon Bannon. Leslie's gonna get the wave around 3rd base, and the ball is out of play. Down the left field line, Jack Cavanaugh throws his hands up in the air. So that's a ground rule double.
Really interesting feature out in left field, a cattle gate that is barely taking up any of the fence space, and somehow that ball just stuck to the line, went right under it. Really obvious call for the umpires there. Unfortunate break for the Kingfish, who almost certainly would have had their 2nd run of the game.
So Leslie heads back to 3rd, and Collier is into 2nd with a double. The first real big jam that Green has been in tonight. He'll face the cleanup man, Luke Stevenson. Righty on righty in the first pitch, swing and a miss on a curveball that fell off the table. It's a huge hack from Stevenson, 0-1. Stevenson flied out to center field in the 2nd inning and walked in the 4th. Junior transferring from Xavier to Elon. Green sets and delivers. Breaking ball bounces, and it's knocked down by Monkey to keep the runners at bay. 1-1. Stevenson, one of the few full season players left for the Kingfish. Comes with the territory this time of year. A lot of players leaving. And now we've got a brief delay in the action as home plate umpire Jesse Crossett points to something in center field and now appears to be satisfied.
I think he may have been asking the first base umpire if there was a check swing there because the umpire motioned back at him.
Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball bounces again, and Monkey employs the chest protector to knock it down. 2 balls and 1 strike. Five runs on 7 hits, 2 errors for the Rivets, 1 run on 4 hits, and 4 errors for the Kingfish. Stevenson with 26 RBIs and 3 long balls this summer. Dangerous at bat for Green. He delivers the 2-1. Breaking ball again bounces, and Monkey gets a piece of it. It hops nearly over the batter, Stevenson, a little bit up the third base line. So it's 3 balls and a strike. What do you expect for Green, from Green, on this pitch?
It seems unconventional, but I think he might try to throw that curveball for a strike here. Like I've said, it is his confidence pitch. If he's got good feel of it, he could definitely throw it in here and hopefully fool Stevenson and not give up a big swing or an extra base hit.
Could be a dangerous pitch. Here's the 3-1. Swung on and nubbed up the first base line, just off the end of the bat of Stevenson. So the count is full. Stevenson stretches out a little bit outside of the right-handed batter's box. Taps the bat on the ground to make sure it's not broken and now climbs back in. He gazes out at Green, who lets the right arm hang, looking for the sign from Monkey. It's a long pause from the lanky right-hander. Now he's got the sign and sets below the belt. Here's the payoff. Breaking ball misses low, and so Stevenson draws a walk to load the bases with no outs to start the bottom of the 6th.
And a huge at-bat there, not for Luke Stevenson, but for Joaquin Monkey, who had to block 4 balls there to keep the runners in place. This is a guy who saw very little time catching at South Florida this past season, played a lot of corner outfield before ultimately getting hurt and ending his season.
Rivets lead by 4. Bottom of the 6th, and the first pitch to Matt Cormier, grounded to shortstop, could be 2. Noble flips to second for 1. The relay in time. No RBI for Matt Corman, who's retired on the 6-4-3 double play. Josh Leslie scores from third base. The Rivets try to run for 2 outs.
Definitely best case scenario there, picking up the 2 outs. Obviously with a 5-1 lead, you can do that a little more comfortably. The Rivets had to run into a few similar situations yesterday, but it was more in a begging for mercy sense, like, please end this inning. They did give up a few runs for outs yesterday.
Runner on third base for Wyatt Crenshaw, and the pitch misses outside. Rivets' lead is now trimmed to 5-2. Cam Collier moving to third base on that double play. Crenshaw is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a fielder's choice. Green deals. Breaking ball is fisted into shallow left field, down the line, and Jack Cavanaugh makes a racing grab, bolting in, and that ends the inning. The Rivets, all things considered, successfully work out of a bases-loaded, no-out situation. The Kingfish get 1 run, thanks to a 6-4-3 double play with the bags loaded off the bat of Matt Corman. But that's all they get, and now the Rivets' lead is trimmed to 5-2 after 6 on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. It's the top of the 7th inning in Kenosha. The Rivets lead the Kingfish 5-2. Alex Saunders back out for another inning of work, and he deals to the top of the order, and DJ Noble, who takes a breaking ball outside. It's 1-0. Noble is 0 for 2 tonight. Excuse me, 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored. The kick and the 1-0. Fastball sails high and outside. 2 balls, no strikes. There was some rain in the forecast earlier, but lucky for us, a storm sailed to the north of Simmons Field. And now the skies have cleared a little bit. Here's the 2-0 pitch. This is down and outside. It's 3-0 on the shortstop, Noble, who stands just below 6 foot at 5'10".
And to get Noble on here would be good. The Rivets have seen this, get their offense going early, and then a bunch of zeros on the board to follow.
3-0 pitch, a breaking ball splits the plate. Noble watching it all the way. So it's 3-1. The lights have been flipped on since pretty much first pitch at Simmons Field due to a lot of dark clouds in the vicinity. The 3-1 is popped up in foul ground on the first base side. Angelo Cantello watches it bounce into the seats. So the count is run full on the Rivets leadoff batter. But now, Ethan, we're treated to a bit of a nice sunset off to the northwest. A pink sky under navy blue clouds on a hot and humid Midwest day. Noble crowds the plate a little bit on that front chalk line to the batter's box, and the payoff pitch to him is jammed and popped foul into the Rivets bullpen, which is not populated. So we'll have another payoff pitch. I think the last thing the Rivets wanted was another thunderstorm during one of their games after what happened yesterday. Another 3-2, it's flied into shallow right field. Wyatt Crenshaw comes in and makes the catch for out number 1, about head high. And Noble goes down for the first out of the top of the 7th. The Rivets lead at 5-2. But the Rivets were scheduled to play a doubleheader yesterday, Ethan. The first game went on as scheduled, a 7-inning contest. The Rivets lost 16-6. That game took a little bit, and then some storms started to roll in. So the first pitch of game 2 was delayed. Jack Kavanaugh steps in and swings at the first pitch and pops it into foul ground on the first base side. Angelo Cantello, the first baseman, reaches over the barrier and can't make the play. It bounces into the first base grandstand for a souvenir. So it's 0-1 on Kavanaugh, who's 0 for 3 with 3 pop-outs. But as that second game was delayed, not one but 2 storms hit Rivet Stadium. Before the first one, the players went out and rolled out the tarp and put it on the field. And there was some wind. It blew around the tarp just a little bit, but the tarp held up pretty well. It did its job, protected the field. Here's the kick in, the 0-1. It's skied on the left side of the infield. The shortstop, Josh Leslie, ranges towards the bag and puts it away for a quick out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for Alex Saunders to start this 7th inning. But the second storm came through with 70-mile-per-hour winds, and it picked up the tarp and blew it off the field.
It was quite the sight. The Rivets players and staff did everything they could to keep it on the field.
Kevin Bushnell climbs in and takes ball 1 on a breaking ball low and inside, 1-0. And Jack Kavanaugh, in fact, tried to hold down the tarp so tight he got dragged across the field by this tarp. The kick and the 1-0, breaking ball misses low. And it's funny that now, because in the moment, really, when you think about it, that could have been very dangerous, and I think the Rivets are pretty lucky that nobody got hurt. Saunders fires the 2-0. It's pulled foul down the third base side, hit pretty hard, 2-1.
Yeah, and Kavanaugh told me the way he got caught by the tarp, he kind of hooked his arm in there to try and pull it as hard as he could back towards where he wanted it. And for anyone that was following along on the live stream, the camera did catch Jack Kavanaugh being spun across the field.
The 2-1 is a called strike on a breaking ball, about letter high to Bushnell, 2-2. And it wasn't just Kavanaugh that got dragged across the infield. It was a few Rivets interns as well. 2-2 pitch is swung on and popped up to the first base side of the infield. Angelo Cantello moves towards the line and puts it away to end the inning. Rivets go down 1-2-3 for a third straight frame. It's stretch time at historic Simmons Field. Rivets lead it 5-2 over the Kingfish on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. The seventh inning stretch has been sung at Simmons Field in Kenosha, Wisconsin. The Rivets lead their Great Lakes East rival, the Kenosha Kingfish, 5-2. All 5 of the Rivets' runs coming in the first 2 innings, a 3-spot in the first, and then a Kevin Bushnell 2-run bomb in the top of the second. Are the differences? Ryan Green, the Rivets starter, is back out for the 7th inning. He'll face Angelo Cantello, Chase Gibson, and Josh Beyer to start. It'll be righty on righty, as Cantello is 1 for 2. He singled and made second on a error his last time, and the first pitch to him is chopped up the third base line, foul, 0-1. Taking a look at Green's pitch count, it's at 76 right now, so he's been more than efficient. He fires the 0-1. It's popped up into right field, down the line. Allison comes in, now goes back and backpedals and makes the grab for a routine out number 1. He made it look not routine, but looks the same in the scorebook, Ethan.
Charlie, a guy that does have a right fielder's build. He could fit in when just looking at the field, but a guy that has very little experience in the outfield and doesn't have very quick feet either, so a little bit of inexperience coming into play there, but ultimately made the play on what has been a quiet night for him.
First pitch to Chase Gibson. Fastball misses high. 1-0. The Rivets and Kingfish playing under a beautiful sunset here in southeastern Wisconsin. Green fires the 1-0. Misses down and outside. 2 balls, no strikes. But the sunset is taking place exactly where we saw some dark clouds earlier. We thought we were going to get hammered by a storm. It was not the case, so we've played pretty quick. 2-0 pitch. Breaking ball paints the inside corner. It's 2-1. It's been a lot of rain across the Midwest the last few days. But at least for now, no more rain in Kenosha. Green rocks and fires. Then the 2-1 is grounded past a diving DJ Noble at shortstop into left field for a 1-out single. In the bottom of the 7th, Rivets lead the Kingfish 5-2.
Now batting for the Kingfish, the second baseman, number 7, Josh Beyer.
So here's Josh Beyer. He's 0 for 2 with a ground out back to the pitcher and a strikeout. Green has only struck out 3 Kingfish, but that's really not how he pitches. He pitches to contact, and when he needs a strikeout, he can get one with a wipeout breaking ball. However, he's not one to blow the fastball by you. Righty on righty, Green sets and delivers. First pitch is cut on and missed on a fastball on the outside corner, 0-1.
Talking about Ryan Green and strikeouts, switching from that closer role that he held for about 2 weeks to now a starter role is a switch from wipeout material to induce hard contact, work efficiently.
Green fires a pickoff throw to first base, and it gets away from Carestis. Gibson trots up to second base, and Kenosha has another runner in scoring position. That was a tricky scene for the Rivets bullpen, as that kicked near an arm who was warming up in the Rivets bullpen.
A little ambitious on the pickoff throw there from Green.
Now Joaquin Monque out to visit his pitcher. Give him a pat on the rear end. Say, hey, you're good. Keep on pitching. He's only surrendered 2 runs, just 1 of which is earned. But you talk about Green transitioning from a bit of a closer's role to a starter's role. He's bounced around a little bit in his time with the Rivets. Joined the team in July, got slotted into the rotation for a spot start, got roughed up, then got moved to the bullpen, and that back end role really suited him well. He sets and delivers the 0-1, and it's flared off the end of the bat past Jake Bellata at second base into right. Chase Gibson, gets the stop sign at third base. And their runners on the corners with 1 out for the leadoff man, Spencer Hands.
And you mentioned a play or 2 ago, there is an arm warming in the Rivets bullpen. It's left-hander Scott Henrik, who joined the team today, possibly looking at his first appearance of the year.
Spencer Hands, the freshman from UW La Crosse, with an RBI opportunity. Kingfish doing their scoring with 1 run in the 4th and then 1 run in the 6th. Green sets and delivers the first pitch. Swinging a ground ball to shortstop, could be 2. Noble gobbles it up, throws to Bellata for 1. The turn is well offline. Chase Gibson scores from third base, and Hands remains at first base. But there's 2 down in the bottom of the 7th. 1 run in, it's now 5-3, Rockford.
If I had to guess there, it was a little bit of a lapse between Jake Bellata's head and his body. I think his body was acting as if there were already 2 outs and that was the 3rd, but then his mind realized, hey, I have to throw over to first to end this inning, and that's where the awkward throw came in.
Doesn't matter much as Hands remains put, and the first pitch to Josh Leslie is a called strike 1. Breaking ball on the outside corner. Green at 85 pitches through 6 2/3. He's put his team in a good spot to win this ball game. He sets below the belt and comes home. The pitch is cued off the end of the bat. A swinging bunt. Green ranges off the mound and flips underhand to first base in time, and that ends the frame. But the Kingfish get 1 more run. They've now scored in back-to-back innings, and they've trimmed the Rivets' lead to 5-3 as we move to the 8th on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. New pitcher for the Kenosha Kingfish to start the top of the 8th inning as the Rivets lead at 5-3. It's Anthony Toohey, a left-hander from Aurora University.
Anthony Toohey, another new arm, another guy with a rough appearance on his game log. 1 inning at Kalamazoo, gave up 4 runs, 3 of them earned on 4 hits. Did pick up a strikeout though. We'll see if he can see some improvement here.
His first pitch is popped foul by Brandon Bannon, the Rivets cleanup batter, and that one finds the seats. So it's 0-1. Bannon had an RBI single in the first inning, reached on an error in the second, and flied out to right in the 5th. Kenosha has now scored in back-to-back innings, trying to come back against the Screws, who scored 5 runs in the first 2 innings. Toohey rocks and fires. And the 0-1 is a bouncer. Bouncer. A little bit of a hiccup there. That'll happen. So it's 1-1. Bannon awaits the 1-1 pitch. It's on the way. He pops it into center field. Cam Collier has a beat on it, and now he lost it in the lights. It lands next to him. Bannon hustling, and he's going to make it to second base. Heads up base running by Bannon, who saw that Collier lost the ball in the lights, and he hustled all the way, and the Rivets have an insurance run in scoring position.
Shades of Battle Creek in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
I knew it was coming.
Another set of low lights here at Simmons Field. Definitely came into play on a high ball there from Brandon Bannon, but I'm sure he'll take the fortunate break for the double there. A guy who has not seen him fall in, but picks up an extra base hit there.
So here's Johannes Hawkinson with the Rivets leading by 2. He squares to bunt and bunts it foul up the first base side. It's 0-1. Hawkinson frustrated with himself as he couldn't drop that one fair. Johannes is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts and a sacrifice fly back in the first inning.
We've seen Yo go for a lot of bunts recently and hasn't been able to lay a lot of them down. Pretty surprising for a guy that is known to be a skilled bunter.
Toohey delivers the 0-1. Misses high and outside. It's 1-1.
Definitely trying to take advantage of the left-handed Toohey and the corners of the infield, both playing pretty far back. Hawkinson would have a pretty good chance at a base hit here.
Toohey sets at the letters, delivers a slow leg kick and a breaking ball that catches the inside corner. It's 1-2. The last play that Johannes made wasn't exactly one that had to do with baseball. It was a between innings promotion as a young fan was participating in a race of sorts where a Kenosha intern dresses up as a Rivet and tries to race said young fan around the bases. 1-2 to Hawkinson, swinging a foul back. We'll do it again. But the young man got very confused and he started running up the right field line, and Hawkinson, who had just left the Rivets dugout, went over near first base and scooped up the fan and guided him in the right direction around the bases, something that a lot of people got a kick out of. It's very nice of Johannes to point that fan in the right direction. Did a nice job with him. Toohey steps off the rubber before he comes set for another 1-2, and now Luke Stevenson will come out for a mound visit.
And we talked up here, that wasn't Johannes's only interaction with a young fan on the field this year. Recently at a home game for the Rivets, a child who we later learned was a relative of Cade Turner snuck into the dugout somehow. We still aren't sure about that aspect. He got in the dugout, started running back and forth, and then eventually ran on the field during the opposing team's warm-ups. Johannes sprinted out of the dugout, was able to scoop the child up and bring him out of the way of potentially danger with 85, 90-mile-an-hour fastballs coming in. But definitely a weird week or so for Johannes Hawkinson that included his first home run.
Mound meeting over. Here's another 1-2. Swing and a miss on a fastball right down the chute. And that's a swinging strikeout for out number 1 in the top of the 8th. Rivets lead at 5-3. Brandon Bannon remains on second base for Justin Carestis, who's 2 for 3. But you know what that first incident really reminded me of was when Darren Baker, the son of Dusty Baker, ran on the field in the middle of a play in the 2002 World Series. Lefty on lefty here as Tui sets above the belt, and the runner goes. The pitch is outside, throw down, not in time. An impressive jump from Brandon Bannon. He swipes third base. Rivets with an insurance run, now just 90 feet away.
Bannon noticed Tui giving very few looks back to second there. As you said, an unbelievable jump there. Really no chance for the catcher Stevenson to nab Bannon at third.
Now the infield comes in for Kenosha. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It misses outside again. The pitch from Tui, the first pitch that was like a pitch out to the third base side of the plate, but I don't think it was intentional. Tui features a sweeping breaking ball that misses out there frequently. The 2-0 is laced into left field. A great piece of opposite field hitting for Justin Carestis. Scores Brandon Bannon from third base. It's an insurance run and an RBI for Carestis. Rivets now lead 6-3.
Carestis swinging it really well in his first 2 games. His third hit of the day there is a big one for a Rivets offense that had gotten quiet after the first 2 frames.
And it's a little bit of relief for the Rivets, who are starting to lose their grip on this ball game. As Kenosha scored 1 run in the 6th and then another run in the 7th. The Rivets score their first run since the 2nd inning to extend their lead back to 3, and now Luke Stevenson wants another mound visit with Anthony Tui. Joaquin Monque is due up. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI double that came back in the first. But Ethan, we were talking about Johannes Hawkinson scooping up some kids, and that sounds very poor, but all at the baseball field and keeping them out of harm's way. The funny thing about the JT Snow and Darren Baker story is that Darren Baker was recently drafted. First pitch misses upstairs to Monque. It's 1-0. Darren Baker, the son of Dusty Baker, got drafted by the Nationals in the 2021 draft. So who knows, maybe one of these kids is going to grow up to be a Major League Draft pick. 1-0 pitch, runs inside to Monque. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Tui grabs a handful of dirt before stepping back on the rubber and coming set. He tosses home with a 2-0. Swinging a foul ball over the press box and out of play. 2-1. But Ethan, one thing I like to say over and over is you see something new at the ballpark every day. Yesterday we saw a flying tarp. Who knows what we'll see today. The 2-1 misses behind Monque. He leans out of the way, and Carestis dashes up to second base. Rivets with another runner in scoring position with a run already in. Here in the 8th, now the toss back to Tui gets away, but Carestis can't capitalize.
And I sometimes think the something new cliche can be overused, but it seems like every time you bring it up, you're proven correct.
Count is 3-1 on Monque. Pitch on the way. It misses inside near the knees. And so Monque draws a 1-out walk. There are runners on first and second for the 8-batter Charlie Allison, with the Rivets leading by 3 in the top of the 8th. Allison is 0 for 3, but no strikeouts, and that's kind of the stat that matters, as he is the Miller Lite beer batter. A sponsored feature here at Simmons Field. Allison holds the bat out at Tui, and the first pitch misses well outside. It bounces off the glove of Stevenson, but he corrals it in time to keep the runners where they're at.
And I think Tui is really struggling to tunnel his pitches here, kind of slows his arm down on that breaking ball and doesn't really start them from the same spot. So it's becoming easier and easier for the Rivets hitters to pick up on that as they come up to the plate.
The kick and the 1-0. Fastball misses outside. It was closer that time, but it's 2-0. A hit here for Allison would be a big confidence boost. 1 for 6 over his last 2 games. And the 2-0 is another pitch outside. And it's 3 balls and no strikes. Allison popped out into center field as last time. The center fielder Collier is ranged toward right in a slight shift. The 3-0 misses well outside on a fastball, and the bases are loaded with one out for Jake Bellotta.
A pretty uneventful at-bat there for Charlie Allison. Does bring up some action in the Kingfish bullpen. We'll see how quickly Mike Porcato pulls the trigger on a pitching change.
Bellotta hitless today. First pitch to the right-hander. Runs up and in, nearly hits him near the helmet, but he ducks out of the box in time, and it's 1-0. And now Luke Stevenson will head out to the mound for his third mound visit of the inning with Anthony Toohey, and I think this is to give the arm in the bullpen some time to warm up.
And as we talk pitching, Scott Henrik has not been up and moving in the Rivets bullpen at any point in this inning. It would appear that, barring any unforeseen circumstances, Ryan Green will be out for the 8th.
He's pitching with a 3-run cushion at least. Chance for the Rivets to increase that cushion with the bases loaded and just one out. And now here comes either Quentin McGrath or Mike Porcaro. This is Quentin McGrath, the pitching coach for Kenosha. And now it's a pitching change. So here comes the arm out of the Kenosha bullpen as Anthony Toohey struggles mightily and leaves a bases-loaded situation for one of his comrades out of the bullpen. We'll have the details on him after a short break. Rivets with a run already in and still threatening. They lead it 6-3 in the top of the 8th on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. We're still in the top of the 8th inning at Simmons Field in Kenosha, Wisconsin, with the Rockford Rivets leading the Kenosha Kingfish 6-3, and they've got the bases loaded with one run already in. So the Kingfish go to the bullpen and bring on one of their sturdiest arms. It's the righty, Matt Zahora.
Sturdy indeed, Matt Zahora, a guy that came in at the start of the second half. This will be his 7th appearance. He's pitched 8 1/3 so far this year. Only 1 earned run, 2 total runs, 14 Ks across that 8 1/3. Really solid pitcher. All comes together for a 1.08 ERA. So it'll be a tough task for Jake Bellotta, but we'll see what happens here.
Not too shabby for Zahora, the redshirt freshman from Illinois, Chicago. And he comes into the ball game in the middle of a 1-0 count. Mike Porcaro, the manager for Kenosha, had seen enough. The first pitch out of the hand of Anthony Toohey ran inside to Bellotta, and I suppose Porcaro wanted to make sure that nobody got hurt. RBI chance for Bellotta, who walked his last time up. Righty on righty matchup. Zahora sets and fires the 1-0 pitch. Misses down and outside, 2 balls, no strikes. And that screaming you hear is a t-shirt toss going on right below the press box. Zohora fires the 2-0, misses high, ball 3. So a unwelcome situation for Zohora in this ball game.
And I think Jake Bellotta came up to the plate here not really looking to swing until he had at least 1 strike against him, knows how big the situation could be, and that the pitchers have been struggling with location.
Here comes the 3-0, swing and a foul back to the screen. So Bellotta swings away on 3-0. Now it's 3-1.
Definitely a bit surprising from Bellotta, a guy that's pretty disciplined, scrappy hitter up there. Definitely thought he'd be looking to take a walk and drive in another run.
Zohora sets above the letters and deals the 3-1. Swing and a miss on a high fastball, and the count is back to full, 3-2.
Really good job of working back here for Zohora. Got to give him credit, has blown a couple fastballs by Jake Bellotta.
1 out, bases loaded. Rivets looking for insurance, leading by 3. Here's the payoff pitch from Zohora. It's flied into shallow right. Crenshaw coming on, and he makes the grab. Carestis fakes towards home plate, and the throw goes to third base and gets by the third baseman hands. Now Carestis will come in and score.
What a play.
Another error cost the Kingfish. Rivets now lead 7-3.
What a day for Justin Carestis, finishing off with a little bit of heads-up base running, a little bit of good fortune there, coming in on an errant throw from Crenshaw out in right. I almost thought Carestis was going to go off the ball. That would have been very surprising, and I think it surprised Crenshaw just as much as it may have surprised us.
So Crenshaw tried to pick him off third base, but it didn't work out. Runners on first and second with 2 down for DJ Noble. First pitch is a called strike on the outside corner. It's 0-1. And now Elvis, the mascot, has wandered his way up to the broadcast booth with his jersey on and all. I'm glad he's not naked as the 0-1 misses down and outside. Gives me some pats on the back, as you may have been able to tell, and now he's exited the broadcast booth. Elvis has left the booth.
And even better, he left food.
Oh, good for us. The runners moved up on that pitch that got away. Here's the 2-1. It's popped up into shallow center field. Long run for Cam Collier. It's into the Bermuda Triangle, and the second baseman, Josh Beyer, makes the grab in shallow center to end the inning. But the Rivets get 2 insurance runs to increase their lead to 7-3 over Kenosha. Headed to the bottom of the 8th inning. We'll see who comes in to pitch the ball game for the Rivets. Ryan Green might be back out for his 8th inning of work. We'll find out after this on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. It's the Rockford Rivets 7 and the Kenosha Kingfish 3, headed to the bottom of the 8th. And for the second time this summer, a Rivets starting pitcher has come back out for the 8th inning. Ryan Green has returned. He's only surrendered 2 earned runs in this ball game, and he's pitched to contact pretty darn well. He's got 3 strikeouts, but again, that doesn't really tell the story for him as he's worked masterfully.
And the lack of strikeouts may actually be why we see Ryan Green out here. Obviously, you can get an out on 1 pitch, but if you're going to get a strikeout, you have to pitch at least 3.
He delivers the first pitch of the inning to Cam Collier, a breaking ball for a called strike. It's 0-1. Collier is 1 for 3 with a double his last time up in the 6th. Green rocks and delivers the 0-1. It's swung on and missed. Fastball in the low outside corner, quickly 0-2. Good start for Green, who's built up some intensity his last few outings, pitching with a lot of confidence. He's got the sign for Monke. He fires the 0-2. It's poked into shallow right. Jake Bellotta ranges out, leaps, and makes the grab. He was backpedaling, and he started to slow down as he leapt to make the play. That's out number 1 in the bottom of the 8th.
And while that jump may have seemed unnecessary, there is a weird angle to the terrain as you cross from the infield to the outfield. So Jake Bellotta maybe got a little tripped up on his own feet and was able to recover with the jump. So good play there, good adjustment to the slope downward as you head out to right field.
Rivets lead the Kingfish 7-3, bottom of the 8th, and now the first pitch to Luke Stevenson is swung on and pulled on the ground down to third base, backhanded by Bannon, the throw to first in time. What a play from Brandon Bannon on a short hop at third. He's looking like a gold glove third baseman, and that's not even his first position.
We've seen a number of great backhand plays, both from Brandon Bannon and DJ Noble, and some dart throws across the diamond too. Really beat Stevenson by a number of steps there. Just Brandon Bannon not even worrying about taking his time after a snag like that.
First pitch to Matt Corman. Fastball misses high to the right-handed hitter, 1-0. At this pace, Green has now thrown just 5 pitches this inning. He's at 91 overall. If he gets a quick out, he could come back out for the 9th. He rocks and fires the 1-0. Breaking ball splits the plate, taken for a called strike 1. Now the action is stopped in the Rivets bullpen. Henrik was up and tossing to start the frame, but now he's stopped. Green delivers the 1-1, and it hit him. Fastball ran inside, and now Kingfish have a base runner with 2 down in the bottom of the 8th, trailing 7-3.
You mentioned the pause movement in the Rivets bullpen. At this point, I feel like they're probably just watching in awe as their teammate Ryan Green has by far his best outing of the year, and one of the best we've seen from a Rivets starter this year. Would be just the 3rd Rivets pitcher to complete 8 innings, joining Jace Warkentine and Ben Vitus. Now
Henrik is resumed throwing on the mound as Wyatt Crenshaw climbs in the box. He's 0 for 3. He flew out to left field his last time up in the 6th. First pitch. Breaking ball in there for a called strike. Right out over the heart. Looks like a 12-6 breaking ball from Green there. 0-1. Lights have taken full effect at historic Simmons Field in a quick ball game. Green lets the arm hang, sets, and comes home with the 0-1. Breaking ball bounces this time. Monke with a good block to keep Corman at first base. It's 1-1.
And for those not familiar with Northwoods League pitching rules, Ryan Green reaching 95 right there. He is not allowed to return for a new inning after 100, and he is not allowed to face another batter after 110.
We'll see if he can get to that point. The 1-1, swinging a slow roller to second base. Jake Bellotta gloves it, goes to second base in time to end the inning. A questionable choice from Bellotta, who perhaps lost track of outs, and he did as he started to walk back to second base after he tossed that ball to second base. My goodness, a risky fielder's choice ends the inning, but no less. It looks the same in the scorebook. 8 full innings from Ryan Green, allowing just 3 runs and 2 earned. Masterful work by the junior from Concordia, Wisconsin. Rivets lead 7-3, headed to the top of the 9th on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. It's the top of the 9th inning at Simmons Field in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Rockford Rivets lead the Kenosha Kingfish 7-3 behind a great outing from Ryan Green, who's eligible to return for the bottom of the 9th inning. We'll see if he goes for the complete game, but here in the top, the Rivets will send off Jake Kavanaugh, Kevin Bushnell, and Brandon Bannon. Kavanaugh is 0 for 4 with a hit streak on the line. Taking the first pitch to him, fastball misses low from Matt Zahora. Kavanaugh has a 6-game hit streak, all 6 games as a Rivet. The 1-0 is a slow roller up the middle. Josh Leslie, the shortstop, boots it. So Jack Kavanaugh is aboard.
Looks like he may have an on-base streak intact, but unlikely that would be scored a base hit.
Yes, that will be an error. So now 6 errors in the ball game for Kenosha. Just horrendous defense for them. And the Rivets have another runner in scoring position. Kevin Bushnell climbs in the box now. Rivets leading by 4, top of the 9th. Righty on righty, and the first pitch. Fastball is skied foul to the right side, out of play, 0-1.
And you never like to see the same number of errors as hits, no matter if that's 1 error and 1 hit, because it's a pretty bad day for your offense, or, as we see today, 6 errors and 6 hits, because it's probably a pretty bad day for your defense.
Zahora sets above the letters and fires the 0-1. Breaking ball misses low and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, anytime your defense has more than 2 errors, I'd consider that a poor day. Rivets have 3 errors. I'd say their defense has been pretty good tonight, though.
Yes, 2 of those throwing errors on Ryan Green on pickoff attempts.
1-0 offering, 1-1 offering, excuse me. Big hack and a miss from Bushnell on a fastball on the outer black. It's 1-2. Bushnell belted his first home run of the summer back in the 2nd inning. Also came around to score after singling in the 1st. Overall, he's 2 for 4. 1-2 pitch on the way from Zahora. Misses low and outside. It's even at 2. Looking beyond the right field wall, there's a parking lot, and some fans have already headed for the exits in Kenosha. Perhaps disappointed in their defense's performance. Zahora steps off the rubber and tosses over to first base, where Kavanaugh dives back safely. Bushnell spins the bat around in his hands, gazes out at Zahora. And he deals the 2-2. And it runs inside, and it bounces off the end of the bat to Bushnell. So it's a foul ball. But Bushnell looked to be in some pain as soon as that hit off the end of his bat. He dropped to his knees. Now he's up and walking around. JT Scara, the Rivets manager and third base coach, walks over for a brief moment, but Bushnell says, "I'm all right," and waves him off. So the count remains 2-2. A little bit of bad luck, but perhaps a little bit of good luck for Bushnell there.
I agree. Probably just a stinger there. Sent a little bit of a vibration through the bat, but no injury.
The kick and another 2-2. Breaking ball misses low and outside. Bushnell almost chased, but he held back. And so the count has run full. Rivets in search of more insurance for Ryan Green, who right now it looks like he's going to come back out for the bottom of the ninth as there's nobody up in the Rivets bullpen. So Hora steps off the rubber. His time is called. Bushnell called that time. He taps the plate twice as he climbs back in. And he settles into an open batting stance. Gazing out at Zohora. He sets, and here's the payoff pitch. Fastball misses outside, and that's ball 4. The first 2 Rivets batters have reached to start the top of the 9th inning. Rockford already leading 7-3. And that brings up the cleanup man, Brandon Bannon. In case you're just joining us, the Rivets scored 5 runs in the first 2 innings. They added 2 runs of insurance in the top of the 8th inning. Brandon Bannon looking to add more. Righty on righty, and the first pitch to him. He squares to bunt, pulls back, and takes a called strike. Fastball on the outside corner. Bannon not happy with the call. Discussing it a little bit with Jesse Crossett, the home plate umpire. Wind still blowing out to center field at Simmons Field, hitter's ballpark, just 300 feet to straightaway left. Here comes the 0-1. Bannon squares again, pulls back again, and once again it's a fastball that dots the outside corner. It's 0-2.
We saw similar calls against DJ Noble earlier, and I said it then, I'll say it again. Brandon Bannon and DJ Noble, not super tall guys. They don't really have the reach to get that ball that's between the batter's box and the plate. So kind of frustrating to see some of those calls not go their way.
Here's the kick and the 0-2. Swing and a miss on a fastball right down the middle. Bannon nearly slams his bat on his way back to the dugout. A frustrating plate appearance for him, no doubt. And that's out number 1 in the top of the 9th. 2 on for Johannes Hawkinson.
Hawkinson, a guy that's probably had the most frustrating game of anyone in this Rivets order. Already 3 strikeouts after a sac fly in the first.
He's the only Rivet to strike out more than once tonight. Righty on righty. Zohora deals. Fastball misses a little bit off the plate. I think we saw that called a strike twice against Bannon. But regardless, it's ball 1 against Hawkinson. Beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. Here's the 1-0 from Zohora. That fastball is right down Broadway, taken for a called strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It seems as if the Rivets are going up here looking for a strike, because that's a pitch that Johannes Hawkinson really wants there, but didn't really seem to even flinch at it. A fastball that was on the plate.
Zohora gets the sign and fires the 1-1. Swung on and fouled off, out of play. So now it's 1-2. Hawkinson steps out of the box and looks at his bat a little bit, takes a deep breath. Kevin Bushnell on first base after a walk. Jack Cavanaugh reached on an error by the shortstop Leslie to start the inning. He's on second. Here comes the 1-2 to Hawkinson. It misses outside, near the left-handed batter's box, and it's 2-2. This is one of those games that kind of stands out in the Rivets season. I think back and I remember a handful of them out of 68 so far. Here comes the 2-2. Breaking ball misses low, and the count is run full. Of course, I remember every game, but you don't remember big details about every single one of the 68 contests. You remember the Battle Creek comebacks. You remember the 4-game sweep of Kalamazoo, which the Rivets really started to click as a full roster. Perhaps the only time they really started to click as a full roster. But this game has stood out. Payoff pitch to Johannes Hawkinson. Swinging a dribbler to second base. Beyer charges, flips to short for 1. The relay from Leslie not in time, as Hawkinson beat out the throw. And there's 2 down as Jack Cavanaugh moves to third. There are runners on the corners for Justin Carestis.
And Carestis is going to come up here looking to once again draw out an at-bat. We've seen a couple long at-bats so far from the Rivets, but it's not for anything but to give Ryan Green a bit of a breather on the bench as he prepares to most likely come out for the 9th. We see no one in the Rivets bullpen. We're fully expecting him to at least take his shot at the first complete game for the Rivets this year.
First pitch to Carestis as Hawkinson goes. The pitch misses down and in, and there's no throw down to second base. Hawkinson swipes the bag uncontested, and there are 2 runners in scoring position for Carestis, who has had one heck of a day, 3 for 4 with an RBI. He rests the bat on his shoulder, standing in the left-handed batter's box in a slightly open batting stance. Here's the 0-1 from Zahora. Swinging a tapper foul. It's quickly 0-2. Carestis steps out of the box, adjusts his batting gloves a little bit. And now steps back into the box. Zahora looks in for the sign from the catcher, Stevenson. He's got it. And he tosses the 0-2. Breaking ball misses low. Good stop by Stevenson. Caught a lot of meat on his leg, so he stands up and shakes it off a little bit. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ethan, I'm trying to remember back as to when the last complete game by a Rivet would be. I don't think they've tossed one since 2019. Zahora sets above the letters and delivers the 1-2. Pitch misses high, nearly gets out of the glove of Stevenson, and it eventually does, but he slowed it down enough for Cavanaugh to remain on third base, and it's even at 2 apiece. If I'm not mistaken, I think the last Rivets complete game was here in Kenosha in 2019. 2-2 from Zahora. Misses way outside, and the count is full on Carestis with first base open. Runners on second and third. Rivets already leading by 4, 7-3 in the top of the 9th.
Quite the coincidence there. We've seen a number of strong pitching performances here.
Here's my theory. I believe it was Brad Littleton here in Kenosha. He took a no-hitter into the 9th inning.
Wow.
And it was broken up in the top of the 9th. Bottom of the 9th, I should say. And the first batter he faced. Here's the payoff pitch. Runs inside. Carestis jumps out of the way. But regardless, he'll head on down to first base. It's a walk with 2 outs, and now the bases are loaded for Joaquin Monque.
And I think that's a cool addition to the Northwoods League pitching regulations. Obviously not one that comes into play today, but the Northwoods League realizes that if you have a no-hitter, you're going to want to go as far as you can, so they allow a little extra leeway in terms of pitch count when you are throwing a no-hitter. And as soon as you give up that first hit, once you're past the 110 mark, though, you do have to come out.
Joaquin Monque is going to get called down to the third base coach's box by Rivets manager JT Scara. He holds his arms out as he explains something to Monque, perhaps saying, hey, how about you did what you did in the first inning? RBI double for Moncay is the highlight of his day. Overall, he's 1 for 3. He walked his last time. But that effort from Littleton came on June 11th, 2019. He went 9 innings, only let up that 1 hit, which was off the bat of Mike Jarvis. And Littleton did not walk anybody and struck out 9. One of the best efforts in Rockford Rivets history.
I just find it interesting that you are still using the same scorebook from back then. That's
Don't give away my secrets now.
Oh, sorry. Quite a bunch of memories in there.
Oh, yeah. First pitch to Moncay. Fastball runs inside, nearly hits him. Lifts up his hands as he watches it inside. 1-0. But I didn't call a full season of games in 2019, nor did I do it in 2020 due to the shortened season and lack of travel. So I've had enough room in the scorebook for 3 seasons. Zahora gets the sign from the catcher, Stevenson, and fires the 1-0. Fastball catches the outside corner. Moncay didn't like the call, but no less, it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
This book might get you through the All-Star break next year. There's a lot of pages left in here.
Bold assumption that I'll be with the Rockford Rivets before the All-Star break next year. You never know. Long pause in the 1-1. Fastball misses outside. Stevenson has to reach across his body for that one. 2-1. But you're right. I mean, there's a fair amount of sheets left. Certainly enough to get us through the rest of this season with just 4 games remaining. Both the Rivets and Kingfish won't be making the playoffs. The kick and the 2-1. Swinging a chopper foul up the third base line. It's 2-2. Rockford Rivets 7, Kenosha Kingfish 3. Top of the 9th inning. The Rivets have led from the start. 3 runs in the first inning, 2 in the second inning, 2 more in the 8th. No runs in here in the 9th, but a big chance for Joaquin Moncay. The freshman from USF gazes out at Zahora. Here's the 2-2. Swinging a foul back to the screen. We'll do it again. If you're Moncay here, what's your 2-strike approach?
I think you got to go back to that RBI double he had early on. Like I said, a big thing that was in that was being able to go the other way, hitting the pitch where it's at. It's kind of an overused piece of advice, but it is one that is definitely useful to hitters. So we've seen a lot of outside pitches here. Moncay should be looking over towards that right center gap.
He settles into an open batting stance. Here's another 2-2 from Zahora. It's popped foul down the right side and out of play. So he tried to go to the opposite side, but well too foul. Still 2-2. Good battle between Zahora and the Rivets catcher Moncay. Joaquin has started to pick up his season. He started really slow, but his batting average is up to .222 entering tonight. And he told us that his goal is to hit near 300 by season's end. I think that might be tough, but he's moving in that direction. Zahora sets near his cap and delivers another 2-2. Swing and a miss on a fastball low and away. And the Rivets strand the bases loaded in the top of the 9th. But the Screws already lead by 4. It's 7-3 going to the bottom of the 9th, and Ryan Green will not come out and try to complete a complete game. New pitcher out there for the Rockford Rivets, and we'll tell you about him after a short break. Rivets lead 7-3 on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. Last chance for the Kenosha Kingfish as we enter the bottom of the 9th inning. It's the Rockford Rivets 7 and the Kingfish 3. Ryan Green's day is over, despite him being eligible to go back out to try and complete the complete game. He is pulled by Rivets manager J.T. Scara in favor of Scott Henrik. Henrik is a left-hander from Missouri S&T. He's a native of West Bend, Wisconsin, and he has had limited action in the year 2021. He had one appearance for Missouri S&T, and it totaled to just one inning. Back on April the 11th, he allowed 2 earned runs against Drury, walked 4 and struck out 1. He comes in with some leeway here as the Rivets lead by 4. And he'll face the lower third of the Kingfish order, starting with Angelo Cantello. The set in the first pitch. Breaking ball just misses outside. That's a call that we've seen all night from Jesse Crossett, but he doesn't give it to Henrik here. So it's 1-0. Cantello is hitless tonight. And the next pitch runs inside and nearly hits Cantello, but it does not. He jumps out of the way. So it's 2 balls and no strikes. So Henrik tried to go to the outside corner with the first pitch and then missed inside with the next. A.J. Golembeski is tossing around in the Rivets bullpen just in case. Henrik sets and delivers the 2-0. That one misses high and outside. A little bit further than the first pitch, and it's 3-0.
Henrik here on a show and go. Just met the team here at the field, so it makes sense to keep A.J. Golembeski hot.
3-0 pitch misses upstairs, and Angelo Cantello is aboard with a 4-pitch walk to start the bottom of the 9th. Kenosha trails Rockford 7-3 in a pretty low stakes game. 4 games remain on the summer season. Series between these two teams tied up at 4 apiece, so bragging rights at stake perhaps. Rivets trying to improve upon their second half record of 12-19. Runner on first for Chase Gibson. Gibson singled and scored in the 7th inning. Overall, he's 1 for 3. Gibson extending his on-base streak to 6 with that knock. Left-handed pitcher, right-handed batter, and the first pitch from Henrik. Pitch misses high and inside. It's 1-0. And here you can see the command troubles that Henrik had back in his lone outing in April have kind of bled through into the summer. He sets above the letters, kicks and fires. The pitch misses high and outside with a fastball, 2-0. So 6 straight balls to start the summer for Henrik.
And hindsight is always 20/20, but you're definitely thinking now that you may have wanted to leave Ryan Green in, allow him to let a runner on before you pull him.
Breaking ball bounces in front of Monkey. The runner goes. The throw down is into center field. Hawkinson is right there to back it up. So Cantello stays put at second base. But that is a 7th straight ball to start the outing for Henrik. And Ethan, at what point does JT Scara say, you know what, enough of this, I'm going to the bullpen again?
I think it may be after this next pitch if it is ultimately his 8th straight ball.
The 3-0 misses high and outside. It is 8 straight balls indeed to start the bottom of the 9th inning. Back-to-back 4-pitch walks issued by Scott Henrik. And he'll face the lowest batter in the order for Kenosha, the 9 batter Josh Beyer, who's 1 for 3 with a single. You really don't want to walk Beyer because then that would load the bases for the top of the order. Henrik working from the left side of the rubber. Here's his first pitch. Called strike. Fastball on the outside corner, and that ends the stretch of 8 straight balls.
The fan's not a huge fan of that. We're definitely settling on walking a couple runs in.
It'd be tough for them to come back that way. Kenosha trails 7-3, bottom of the ninth. The kick in the 0-1. Breaking ball misses inside as Beyer squared to bunt and pulled back. It's 1-1. Henrik looking for the sign from Moncay. He sets at the letters and fires the 1-1 pitch. It misses well high, nearly above the helmet to Beyer, and it's 2-1.
And I said it with Gibson at the plate, but I would have to guess this may be Scott Henrik's final batter.
He delivers the 2-1 pitch. Fastball, swing and a miss on a pitch that was inside the zone, so it's back even at 2. Beyer with a home run hack there. He's not hit a home run this summer. He does have 3 RBIs. One swing would get the Kingfish within 1. Henrik gets the sign and comes home with a 2-2. It misses down and inside near the shoe tops of Beyer. So the count is full. All of a sudden, this game feels a lot closer.
I agree. Potential tying runs standing on deck right now.
Henrik delivers the payoff pitch. Breaking ball misses low, and the lefty has walked the bases loaded in his first appearance in the Northwoods League. And here comes Rivets manager JT Scara, and that will almost certainly end the appearance for Scott Henrik on a whimper. AJ Golembeski looks to be the arm warming up for the Rivets. JT Scara has not taken the ball yet from Henrik. Discussing with the entire Rivets infield, and Henrik's going to stay in the ball game.
A bit surprising there, especially given that Golembeski should be hot in the pen now, a guy who went 9 up, 9 down in relief of Jared Herzog on Sunday.
Now one swing would tie it as the top of the order, and Spencer Hands climbs to the plate. Rivets 7, Kingfish 3, bottom of the ninth. Rivets trying to go ahead by 1 game in the season series. Last 4 games of the season. Left-handed pitcher, right-handed batter, in the first pitch to Hands. Breaking ball splits the plate, taken for a called strike 1.
It looked like Henrik may have slowed his arm down a little there. While it got him a strike to start this at-bat, may spell trouble further into the game.
Here's the 0-1, swing and a miss on a fastball on the outside corner, and all of a sudden it's 0-2 on the leadoff man, Spencer Hands.
Henrik, clearly a guy that brings a level of velocity to the Rivets pen that they're not familiar with.
We'll see if he brings it again on 0-2. It's on the way. Breaking ball misses high, snap throw down to first. Not in time. Risky throw from Moncay with the bases loaded.
Definitely a risky throw, but I like the idea there, kind of catch the runners off guard, not really expecting anything except pitcher to catcher after the way this inning has started.
Henrik gets the sign and tosses the 1-2. It misses inside and gets away from Moncay, but all the runners stay put. The pitch got all the way to the on-deck circle, and I was shocked not to see any of the runners go. Cantello not the quickest on third base, but that ball kicked pretty far away from the plate. Now it's even at 2-2, and Moncay is going to walk out to the mound for a visit.
And I think that was a cross up there, just the way Joaquin Moncay tried to receive that and then going out for the mound visit here. I think he was expecting a breaking ball, got that fastball on the inside edge. And I also am surprised with Cantello not running there, but a good play by the other 2 Kingfish runners to be watching that, because a lot of times the runners will just go as soon as they see that ball slip away, and it'll create even more trouble on the base paths and almost definitely lead to an out.
So it's 2-2. The base is still loaded. Henrik sets from the left side of the rubber. Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball misses low and away, and the count is full. Henrik is a pitch away from a 4th consecutive walk to bring in a run. Henrik holds the baseball in his glove and now brings the hands together. Here comes the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him for out number 1.
That's got to feel good for Scott Henrik there. Was definitely starting to lose his handle of this game. Picked up a big strikeout there. Could potentially roll up a double play ball here. We've seen a few of them come at key times for the Rivets recently.
A ground ball could end the game. A fly ball over the wall could tie the game. First pitch to Josh Leslie. Breaking ball over the heart of the plate, taken for a called strike 1. Leslie, the junior from McNeese State, is a hometown kid, Kenosha native. He's 1 for 4 tonight with a single and a run scored back in the 6th inning. The kick and the 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball misses low. Monque gets enough equipment on it to keep it in front of him. It's 1-1. Henrik sets in a very open stance, rocking back and forth. And he delivers the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball misses off the outside corner, according to home plate umpire Jesse Crossett, where a number of pitchers have gotten the call tonight.
And I think what maybe have come into play is that I think Crossett gave Henrik a mercy call earlier on in the inning and was trying to take it back there.
Here comes the 2-1. Pitch misses high. It's 3 balls and 1 strike. And once again, Henrik is a ball away from walking in a run. Rivets ahead by 4, but that could change very fast. Ryan Green went 8 innings and was phenomenal. Could have came back out for the 9th, but he did not. The set and the 3-1. Misses high and outside. That's ball 4. And that brings in Angelo Cantello to score from third base. And now the winning run is at the plate, and JT Sciarra says that's enough. He calls the bullpen for A.J. Golembeski, but he's going to come in the midst of a mess. Scott Henrik walks 4 of the 5 batters he faces, including walking in a run. Rivets now lead by just 3. We'll tell you the details on Golembeski after a short break on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. It's coming down to the wire at historic Simmons Field in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Rivets lead at 7-4, but Scott Henrik came on with a 4-run lead, walked 4 of the 5 batters he faced, and walked in a run, And now A.J. Golembeski, the right-hander from Illinois Springfield, has to face a bases-loaded scenario with just one out.
And Golembeski, not a guy you would call on in this situation a few days ago, but in Traverse City was lights out, faced 9 batters, 9 outs, 3 scoreless innings for Golembeski, picked up 3 strikeouts on the way. Overall in the season, 12 2/3 innings with a 10.66 ERA, but looking to continue what was a dominant performance out of the pen back on Sunday.
In those 3 innings of work, he walked 2 and struck out 3. No room for any walks here. He'll face Cam Collier, freshman from USF, who has 14 RBIs. One swing of the bat could win the game for the Kingfish. Righty on righty in the first pitch. An off-speed offering that catches the lower part of the zone. Collier holds his head back in disgust at the strike 1 call. Collier has 1 hit today. He's 1 for 4 with a double that came back in the 6th inning. Golembeski, the long and lanky righty, standing at 6'5". He kicks and delivers the 0-1. Swinging a drive well foul past the parking lot near the strip mall. Out of play down the left field line, but if that was fair and if Collier straightened that one out, that could have been a game ender.
Collier sitting fastball there, as you could tell, way ahead of the off speed. That's kind of the way it's supposed to work, but he did crush that ball.
It's 0-2 on him now. Golembeski fires. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball in the dirt. And that's out number 2. A masterful strikeout from A.J. Golembeski has the Kingfish down to their final out in the bottom of the 9th. Rivets lead at 7-4. Bases remain loaded. And now it comes down to Luke Stevenson.
And Luke Stevenson, definitely a threat to continue this game or even potentially end this game, as much as we wouldn't want to admit it. 26 RBI on the year. He's in this cleanup spot for a reason.
In addition to those runs driven in, he's got 3 home runs. And any fly ball out to left field could get out. 300 to straightaway left. Scary spot for Golembeski and the Rivets. First pitch. Breaking ball misses inside. Right above the knees to the Kenosha catcher. It's 1-0. Chase Gibson on third base. Josh Beyer on second. Josh Leslie on first. Leslie represents the tying run. Golembeski nods at the sign from Monkey and fires the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball that fell outside the zone. 1-1. Stevenson steps out of the box and stretches out a little bit. Taps the bat on his cleats. The junior transferring from Xavier to Elon at the plate with a game on the line. Here's the 1-1 from Golembeski. Breaking ball bounces. Good stop from Monkey. But now Golembeski is behind 2-1.
I like that pitch there. Picking up that strikeout to start opened up a lot of options for A.J. Golembeski. Came in, didn't really, you couldn't take many risks. He's able to take a few more risks here. He has some really versatile pitches. So throwing that pitch, while it was ultimately a ball, I think is a good decision on his part to keep Stevenson off balance.
Long pause from Golembeski. He sets and deals the 2-1. Swinging a grounder through the left side. Gibson scores from third. Josh Beyer gets the wave around. The throw to the plate is cut off. It's a 2 RBI single for Luke Stevenson. And the Kingfish are within 1 in the bottom of the 9th. It's 7-6. The tying run is on second base in the form of Josh Leslie. So the RBI guy, Luke Stevenson, comes through. And now the game falls into the hands of Matt Corman.
Just like you said, Stevenson coming in, doing his job. He'll be pulled for a pinch runner. Not surprisingly, as that new runner will represent the go-ahead run and the winning run. We are in Kenosha.
Righty on righty matchup, and now the first pitch to Corman. Breaking ball, paints the inside corner, taken for a called strike one. Action in the Kenosha bullpen getting going just in case. It's now 7-6 in the bottom of the ninth. Kingfish down to their final out. Golembeski gets the sign from Monkey, but time is called. The pinch runner on first base is Mikey Madej. Here comes the 0-1. Change up again, taken for a called strike at the bottom half of the zone, and the Kingfish are down to their final strike. The fans are on their feet at historic Simmons Field. A base knock could tie it. Another strike ends it. The Rivets hanging on for dear life, trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball misses down and outside. Monkey with a big block. It's 1-2.
I expect a high fastball here. Like you said, those two changeups and the breaking ball start to set off the rhythm of the hitter, and then you're able to blow a high fastball by him, a pitch that looks very enticing after the previous ones you've seen.
Golembeski trying to slam the door on the Kingfish. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball misses outside. It looked like it could have caught a part of the zone, but it didn't. A competitive pitch, no less, but now it's 2-2.
I think competitive is a good way to describe that. Definitely was looking for a swing and miss there, but had the chance of getting a called strike 3.
Corman has one hit tonight. He's 1 for 3 with a single and a hit by pitch. 2-2. Swung on and flied into shallow left. This should do it. Jack Cavanaugh comes in and makes the grab, and the ball game is over. The Rockford Rivets make it interesting in the bottom of the ninth. Scott Henrik comes on and walks 4 batters. He walks in a run, but A.J. Golembeski comes in and saves the ball game for the Rockford Rivets, and they close out a 7-6 victory. A thrilling win for the Rockford Rivets to end a 4-game losing streak. We'll be back to wrap it up after this on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. Welcome back to historic Simmons Field. The Rivets wrapping up a crunch time victory. Here are the final lines. The Rivets with 7 runs on 9 hits, 3 errors, and 9 runners left on base. For the Kingfish, 6 runs on 7 hits, 6 errors, and 8 runners left on base. The winning pitcher is Ryan Green, who went 8 innings, allowed 6 hits, 3 runs, 1 of which was earned, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Bryant Bagshaw gets the loss. He surrendered 5 total runs, 3 of which were earned in 5 innings of work. All those runs coming in the first 2 innings. He recovered after the 2nd inning and onward. He looked pretty sharp, but it was not enough as Kenosha's comeback bid fell short in the 9th inning. A.J. Golembeski gets the save after he had to come on and bail out Scott Henrik, who in his first Rivets appearance walked 4 batters and walked in a run in the 9th inning, recording only 1 out. He almost lost the game for the Rivets, but Golembeski came through with a great performance.
Yeah, we did see a lot of good pitching from the Rivets and then a little bit of bad pitching near the end, but you got to give all the credit here to Ryan Green. Just one of the most dominant performances we've seen out of a Rivets pitcher this year. And I think another thing that came into play, you kind of emphasized it going through the lines, 6 errors on the Kenosha side definitely helped to keep the offense lively for the Rivets and kind of revived them in the 8th, where they ultimately got insurance runs that were more important than they originally felt.
Absolutely. I mean, for a moment in the middle of the game, after the Rivets scored the first 5 runs, it felt like Kenosha started to grasp that momentum. They scored 1 run in the 4th, 1 run in the 6th, and then 1 run in the 7th. At that point, Kenosha had scored the last 3 runs of the game, and now that 2-run top of the 8th inning is what really won it for the Rockford Rivets. And in that 8th inning for Rockford, Justin Carestis came through with an RBI single. Carestis had a great day, another one, a 3-hit day for him. Overall, he was 3 for 4 with 3 singles and a walk. So he's a standout performance, but the player of the game is undoubtedly Ryan Green.
And Ryan Green seemed to have it working the whole time through. He ran into a jam or 2 going through the game, but never surrendered more than 1 run, and that's always a good sign for your starting pitcher. And did it without a lot of strikeouts. We've seen him out of the pen getting a lot of key Ks late in the game, but today lots of weak contact, kept it on the ground a ton. We saw a lot of good plays on the left side from DJ Noble and Brandon Bannon, so Ryan Green did exactly what he needed to do coming in for just his 2nd start of the year.
He was absolutely phenomenal, and as a result, he gets a hard-earned victory, and the Rivets improved to 28-39 overall this summer, 13-19 in the 2nd half. The Kenosha Kingfish fall to 37-32, and 18-17 in the 2nd half. Both these teams eliminated from postseason contention. So they're both playing for pride, and now the Rivets have the lead in the season series. Both these teams are going to continue playing with each other until the end of the season. 3 games left in the season series, and just 3 games remain in the season overall.
And I think tonight's game will definitely give the Rivets a reminder of how it feels to win, and they're definitely going to fight for that down the stretch. These last 3 games may look meaningless in the standings, but to them, they want to go out on top. They want to come together and kind of get all the aspects of the team working, which is what we saw for the majority of the game tonight.
Rivets and Kingfish wrapping up this contest in 3 hours and 10 minutes in front of a crowd of 2,448 at historic Simmons Field in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So that about wraps it up. Ethan, any final thoughts?
I think the Rivets can take the offense away from this game. Like they really came through early, and they could see why they've had so many struggles across the year. It's very hard to come back from 4, 5, 10-run deficits in the 1st and 2nd. So hopefully this will motivate them to come out hot with the bats tomorrow and pick up another win and sweep the Kingfish here at Simmons Field.
Next up for the Rivets, as Ethan alluded to, one more matchup here at historic Simmons Field tomorrow night at 6:05, same time, same place. You you can catch that call right here on the Rockford Rivets Baseball Network. So that wraps up our coverage from Wisconsin for this evening. For my partner Ethan Blake, this is Larry Larson saying so long, and thank you so much for listening and spending your Wednesday night with us. Again, the final, the Rivets hang on for a 7-6 victory over the Kenosha Kingfish. So long, everybody.